there! Welcome on in to our YouTube watchers and our
YouTube kids,
podcast
what up?
listeners. What's up, y'all? Welcome on in. At this point, we're going to say a quick word from our sponsor. Y'all, Eldritch Osiris Games is back. Huge thank you to our sponsor there. Y'all, did you know that Eldritch Osiris Games is the first TTRPG co-op? Built on the foundation of giving voices to creative authors who don't normally have a roadmap to publish.
Oh my god.
Amazing. And y'all, they have a lot of Pathfinder content. I have some really cool stuff, so go check them out and tell them super thank you for supporting cool Pathfinder creators like us. All right, I'm done. That was a lot. Also,
we're back.
We're so back to Roll20. We are Roll20 ambassadors, and you will probably see a little bit of Roll20 tonight on our VTT overlay, because why would we need a map? Nothing's happening. But, in case we do, that's Roll20, and they made my prep for this thing that may or may not happen super easy. So thanks, Roll20.
I don't like it.
Anyways,
that means it's a battle map.
Maybe it's just a beautiful scenery.
Or the dorms.
It could be like
a
anything,
Van Gogh.
Because when I ran the circus, that was super easy too. So it's literally anything.
It could be anything, but also I'm particularly really grateful for their lovely ability that I don't have to put all the monsters on the. Sorry. So let's hit that intro video.
One of the thoughts you said out loud, eh?
Hey y'all. First time 2023. We'll see you all in class.
Yeah, we will. Let's go.
Welcome back. Don't worry, we'll riff while Maria does important things.
Talyacha died. We all level up to 4.
That's right. Perfect. I honestly need to be at 4 so bad. So bad. I've already picked up everything.
Last we left off, it's been a little bit. So let's do a brief little recap, if you will. So there was intensive moments at your, not necessarily graduation ceremony, but of a kind, as you all go from initiates to, I almost said affiliates. No, not quite. Attendants. And as almost anticipated, almost as expected, due to the series of events that have happened prior, at the end, as you all attune to your masks, the walls of this auditorium cave in, and a giant amount, not just in size, but also in quantity, of bugs of multitudes of kinds come out of these burrowed walls and attack not just you 4 students, but the staff, other students, faculty, and your families. Fighting them off and defending them to the best of your abilities, exhausted, concerned, and just a little bit, off-put from these series of events. Well, the Magaambya is taking it seriously, that's for sure. So faculty is in a full research mode. There is delegates going into the city to determine, what is the extent of what's going on over there. There is research being done on campus. The explorations of these burrowed tunnels has begun. However, due to the series of events that had occurred the day prior, some rest, some recuperation as the staff begins this process has been gifted to you all, and you have a day at the circus. The circus, not just any circus, Tal's family circus, because they are in town. So you all head off after a less than stellar interaction with Tal's uncle, Tyrugan. You all experience the wonders of the circus for the first time, for everybody other than Tal. And let's see, Hideaki and Arafe go to watch the show in the big tent. Tal is off because they're upset. But quickly their brother finds them and grabs them and explains, this has all been a big misunderstanding. We wanted you to be a part of the show. You're going to be the special guest. Everything is going to be fine. Emotional, Tal joins. However, in the act where Tal and their brother are acrobatically in perfect tandem, swinging on silks and ropes and doing all sorts of beautiful maneuvers in the air and around, the synchronicity of the events that transpire affect Arafe in a unique way. With a splitting headache, they pass out. It was a lovely, lovely natural 1 save. And Hideaki is left not knowing what the fuck to do, because Tal is not there at the end of the show, returning to be with their family. Oh, and Ark did not join our other friends here in the circus, as the lights, the sounds, the crowds were a bit too much for Ark. And checking in, Arafe and Hideaki, right? You two checked in with Ark, right? Is that correct? I want to remember.
Yeah, we checked in with Ark before we went in to make sure that
Before you went.
if he wanted to go or if they wanted to stay.
Accepting and understanding Ark's unwillingness or disinterest in joining, they let Ark be with the promise to meet up with them afterwards. And Ark, blissfully unaware of the events that transpire as Hideaki carries Arafe to the medical tent, is just enjoying their time in the grass, hearing from outside the sounds of joy and laughter from within the big tent. That's where we pick back up.
Let's go.
All right. So, where do y'all want to start?
In bed. I want to go to bed now.
Go home. I
I'd like to
understand.
curl up in this bed right here.
That was amazing.
All right. I think I know.
There's only one way.
There's only one way,
There's
right?
really only one way to start. Come
All
on
right.
now.
My
Hey,
heart is...
Waffles.
Hi.
Can you cue some music for me?
No.
Arafe. After the piercing headache overwhelms your consciousness for a brief moment, you wince and shut your eyes. You feel for a moment as if you're falling, like an unconscious body slumping to the ground. But as quickly as the feeling comes, a sense of vertigo replaces it as gravity seems to flip. You're not falling down, you're falling up. The sharpness at your temple fades, and you feel a breeze of the outdoors across your skin as you regain your bearings. Opening your eyes, you're sitting upright in a field. a field reminiscent of the sprawling space the lively circus was set up in, except empty in all ways. Devoid not only of the music and chatter of the people no longer around you, but of light and of all color. A silhouette of sparse, barren trees surround the outskirts of this wide field you're in. Adjusted as your eyes are to dark vision, the dim light of the space around you backlights the trees, presenting them as nothing but shadow. The grass beneath your feet is long and pale gray. It ripples gently to the occasional breeze that sweeps through. There is a muted quiet that fills the space, that teeters precariously between soothing and suppressing, reminiscent of the untouchable weight of standing alone in a large, empty, soundproofed auditorium. But nevertheless, you are outside. What do you do?
So I think the first thing she would do is she would stand up and just kind of take in the area around her. Hideaki? Tao?
You hear your voice emanate from you. It melds into this sort of muted atmosphere. You hear it call out like you would. You can talk normally. It doesn't disturb this space. It just blends in with it. And as you sort of call out and look around, you hear no voice call back to you. Do you want to make a perception check to see kind of if you see anything?
Heck yeah. And to start out the year, where the fuck is perception?
First roll, 2023!
Alright, perception. 19. Not dirty, 19.
19, all right.
Dirty 19.
Dirty 19.
That nasty,
you know, as
19,
they say.
As they say. As the kids say.
So you're kind of, you stand up from this log and start kind of looking around you. With a 19, what previously at a glance the tall grass obscured, with patterns of gray on gray blending and camouflaging, you see now. They're not. Ooh, hello, camera.
Don't worry, the camera's just getting into character and obscuring you.
We're just gonna keep going until it figures itself out. So, there, not far, you see a mass in the grass. Stepping closer, slowly, you realize what it is you're seeing. This mass is a heaping pile of large, thick chains. A single link the size of your palm.
Seems somewhat out of place. And she'll go towards it because she sees nothing else.
Yeah, it's basically, the trees are very kind of far away from this space, and this is the only thing that you're seeing. Yeah, okay, so you go closer. What are you doing?
Well, as I get close, the first thing I think, she called out for Hideaki and Tel because they were with her before. But didn't call out to Ark because Ark wasn't there last she remembered. But she's also now going to look to see if she can see Yafira in her shop.
Okay.
As she's walking over to this chain pile.
Yeah, so as you walk over, you look down. And you know what? This explains a lot. The reason the patterns of gray on gray blending and camouflaging as you were is because these things aren't casting shadows correctly. And as you look down, you do not see a shadow. You have no shadow. You cast no shadow.
Right, alone it is, I guess. And she's going to go forward as close as she can to this pile of chains. Not going to touch it immediately because it's a pile of chains in the middle of a creepy field. We've all seen a horror movie. And just kind of see if she can tell anything else about it.
All right.
As she's closer.
Stepping closer still to investigate, the sound of your footsteps and the crunching of colorless grass is simultaneously muted, yet loud. You hear your breath. Every sound feels equally loud, equally disturbing, equally off. And you stare at this twisting pattern of chains and see it staring back at you. There, underneath it, within it, weighed down and shackled, you see two pupilless yellow eyes as they meet yours. The chains shift and rattle, sliding across each other as this being tries to shift against their weight, and you hear a gasp of a breath. Faye.
That ring to me at all?
It is simultaneously familiar and unfamiliar. It is a weird sensation. It doesn't stir anything necessarily in you, but you do know that they are calling you by a nickname.
Do I know you?
Yes. Yes, it's me. It's me. It's me. As it continues to talk, you recognize the voice. The same voice that speaks to you from your shadow.
Yafira.
What are you doing here?
Where is here?
It's the shadow plane.
Right, and as she's having that explanation, the minute that Airfarer realizes that it's Yafira, she's at the chains.
Okay.
Trying to look to see if she can find a padlock or a weak spot or anything.
Without a check, kind of just looking through these chairs as you get chains and looking closer. At first it was really hard to see because it was just this kind of almost like twisting mass of chains that had no distinct beginning and end. As you are next to it, kneeling, looking at them, you're clearly able to see this is not necessarily one chain, but multiple. And the way you're able to identify that is by following some of them that lead to the ground, and they seem to just be like directly chained and linked into the ground with like some sort of like post or stud, and there's a couple of those points. You see one here, there, over there, but no distinct padlock, no distinct lock of any kind.
We're gonna get you out of here, okay? And she's gonna go straight towards the closest thing in the ground. I'm assuming it looks very large, but she's going to try and pull it out of the ground.
Be careful, it's dangerous. All right, so you're gonna just are you gonna grab them?
Yes.
Okay.
Against all better judgment, yes.
All right. You wrap your hands around these chains. They feel cool to the touch, like touching cast iron that's been sitting out in the shade. But there is something more to them. You are a magical being, you understand that just in trying to interact with these are no normal chains. If you would like to just try to yank and pull, you can go ahead and make me a athletics check.
I mean, that's gonna be her
if you want to do something else, you want to get creative, like, you just let me know.
I mean, that's her first thought, is just to try and get brute force, despite the fact that she is not strong, but that is a dirty 20.
Ooh. Okay. Something drives you. You wrap your hands around these, and despite knowing there's a magical nature to these, you plant your feet in this shaded gray landscape and pull with all your might. That is going to be a success. And on this success, I would like you to make me a will saving throw.
Watch, this is where I get the 1, because that's what happens when things are important. 11 plus 8, 19.
19. Okay, that was the DC. I'm glad. Let me one last chance here. Hold on.
Listen, you're in a realm between realms. You can be a little out of focus as a tree.
Yeah, you got this. It's no big deal.
No, or not. Or we can see your beautiful face perfectly and crisp and clear. That's fine too, I guess.
I guess.
As the chain begins to shift in the ground, you feel it begin to budge. Suddenly you're rocked by multitudes of sharp stabs deep in your skull, as fragments of memories long lost begin to rapidly fall into place. It starts fuzzy, blurred. You're small, maybe 3 years old. You look up and you see a kind face of someone laying in a bed. You're Nibby, Karina. They look frail and sick. You see them take a weak breath and reach up and pull a necklace off their neck and hand it out to you. Their face falls out of focus as your small hand grasps the pendant, a symbol of Pharasma. You hear their soft voice. My sweet daughter. Your vision blurs and you see yourself looking up at a different face. Zolaris, your mother. She looks strong, muscular. She seems to be looking at you sternly. But they were being mean to her. You hear your own voice say with a sniff. Older than before, maybe 10 or 12. That's no excuse to be mean back now, is it, Arafe? Now I want you both to go and apologize. Both. You feel yourself turning to look to your right. You feel it so close, something there. You're wrenched from the scene into another. You're being awoken, suddenly. It's the middle of the night. This scene, this memory, this one is familiar to you. You've had it many a time. You're running from the bedroom after something. No, you remember this clearly. Someone had come to get you urgently. They needed you for a banishment. Why does it feel different? Your vision's starting to blur and you're trying to stay present. Someone did come, but not to get you. You see the room in your periphery as you run out the door after them. You didn't remember there being 2 beds. You blink as you stand around the ritual circle, breathing hard. Yes, this you remember. The demon, known as Renala. You banished the demon. Your vision blurs again as the demon is banished and the dark, heavy metal chains fall to the floor. The chains. You look up and wipe the tears from your cheeks. Tears? You don't remember tears. You see Infar nod and turn to another figure. He seems anxious, fearful, and there'll be no recollection of the balance of her. You turn to the figure. Your vision begins to blur. You can't seem to focus on their face. You hear the words of affirmation that emanate from them as the room blooms into a blinding white. None at all. Let's roll some damage. Hold on. So, as it blooms to that... Okay. You successfully saved on your will saving throw, so you're going to go ahead and take half damage, and that is going to be 12 points of psychic damage.
Okay.
Y'all, if I wasn't in a hotel right now, I'd be screaming. I'd be screaming so loud. I can't tell you how much I want
totally hear you.
You can't, though, because I'm not doing anything.
I mean, you can. It's early there.
True.
As you take this psychic damage and open your eyes once more to the colorless, dim-cast shadows of chains and a grass field around you, you watch as the chain that you've pulled out of the ground slips, loosens, and falls to the ground. The mound shifts as if something within it is trying to stir, to stand. The chains pull taut once more against the strain as a hand shoots out from a small gap and grasps your forearm tightly. The skin is pale, colorless, and similar to your own. I'm sorry, Faye. Help us, please. You look at this arm and this hand as they say this, and you watch it begin to wither. Trigger warning in chat. Parts of the arm's flesh begins to rot and disintegrate in patchwork, revealing muscles and bone as it does.
Instantly cast seal.
Well,
that's
before you can.
Level.
Before you can.
Okay.
They say this. They say, help us, please. And you watch this withering, and something about this, something about as you watch this, you recognize this is of their doing. This is originating from them, whatever that means. Okay. But it's going to do something. And I'm going to need you to make a fortitude saving throw.
Okay.
Now, additionally, I will give you one option.
Okay.
You can choose to fail.
Okay. So just to figure out what's going on in her head and what she understands. So she believes that it's Yafira inside the pile, and she understands that. And then I also am recognizing that this is coming from Yafira.
Yes.
At least in her understanding.
Except the demon that you've banished, this memories as they click into place, the name doesn't fit right for you. This is not Yafira. This is the demon you banished. No, it's Yafira, but it's the demon you banished. And there is some confusion there. But yes, you do recognize it as quote-unquote Yafira, and
mixed with
it is coming from them as they are grasping your forearm tightly, and it's almost like they are trying to pull something from you as their hand and arm begin to rot.
Because this is the DM to a roll.
Let's do it. Fortitude save.
Oh no, it's whether or not she'll let it happen or not.
Ah.
So 50-50 here. Yes. So she lets it happen.
All right.
But I will say that as a caveat, her having this moment of recognition that this is Yafira, something I don't understand is going on. She's trying to pull something from me. I am going to cast.
Say it again.
I'm going to cast Lifelink.
Lifelink. We're gonna do it in turn order, ish. So we're gonna finish this effect, and then you'll be able to cast this. So you choose to fail this fortitude save. You feel you are a life oracle, correct?
Mm-hmm.
You are adept at manners of the soul. And as this effect is trying to pull something from you and you let it happen, you feel it. You feel this being, this arm, begin to siphon off a portion of your own vitality. And I will roll damage.
Oh, God. Listen, we joked about a character dying, but...
I mean...
If you die in the Shadow Realm, you die
in real life. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Definitely.
Definitely.
You super die.
You take 4 points of negative damage.
Okay.
And because you have failed, you become drained 1.
Oh. Okay.
You can go ahead and click that effect, and we can talk a little bit about what that does for you in a second.
Should go in the roll.
What's that, Waffles?
I said OP.
So you lose those 4 hit points. Okay. Additionally, that point of drained. So drained is your life force. You become less healthy. So you take a status penalty equal to your drain value, which is 1, on constitution-based checks, like fortitude saves. You also lose a number of your hit points equal to your level times the drained value.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So lose.
So that's 3 times 1, so that's 3. And your maximum hit points are also reduced by this amount.
I was waiting for that.
Yep, me too.
Now I was waiting for that.
All right.
Now, as this being casts soul siphon on you and siphons your soul into it, you recognize that it is taking those hit points from you. It is healing from you. And as you go to lifelink with this being, as you immediately go to still give it that life force, you wake up with a gasp.
Oh my god!
And you are laying in a tent. We're gonna pause there. And check back in. Well,
yay!
Hideaki, you have been in this tent. You brought Arafe to this tent, and they are laying there unconscious for a little bit. In this current moment, they have not yet woken up. I just want to check in. What is Hideaki doing?
If it's longer than 20 or 30 minutes, he's still pacing.
Okay. So you're staying in the tent?
Yeah, the whole time.
Okay.
Or impatiently waiting.
Okay.
Sure.
The healer has been checking over Arafe, and after like the first 5 minutes of kind of looking them over, realizing there's nothing outwardly like problematic necessarily, they just sort of go and get like a small little like basin of water and a cloth, and just, dab their forehead, kind of just like some sensation just to make sure that they're waking up and kind of a deal. But it when it doesn't really do anything, they put the cloth aside. The basin is still there with some clean water, They say feel free to, continue if you like, and they are basically going about letting Airfay just sort of rest for now because it's not doing much, and they check in every once in a while, and otherwise are leaving you alone.
I think there's initially like some hesitation, but I think you kind of look at the basin of water and the cloth. No doubt you do this for me, and he'll do it.
Sitting.
I'll try not to drown you.
Just smother it with a wet alcohol.
Simban.
So sitting on a little stool by the cot, you gently dab Airfay's forehead and wait for them to wake up.
So yeah, something for him to focus on. So
focus on. As you are focused on them, why don't you make me a perception check?
Sure. 19.
Beautiful.
The dirtiest of 19s again.
there is a certain moment of time throughout this, like, however long, like it's been, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes of them laying here, that their face sort of contorts into like a wince or some kind of pain, which is soothed shortly after as you continue to like care for them. And then with that 19, there's this moment near the end where you glance down at their arm that is resting by their side, and you see a sort of handprint on their forearm that seems to be like, in a moment, draining a little bit of the color of their skin. They don't have color on their skin. They are gray, but it gets like just darker. There's just something, this weird discoloration that sort of happens and then disappears. And if you hadn't happened to be looking at the arm in that current moment, you would have missed it.
And it's already gone?
It's gone. We're gonna jump to Ark for a second.
That's me.
Ark. Total shift as you are having a great time.
Yep.
And this has been surprisingly a much needed rest for you. Enjoying the sounds of the circus finishing up an act that, little do you know, your friends are not there to watch. But you hear it, and you hear some splashing of water, and you hear some oohs and ahs from the crowds, and you can only imagine what exactly is going on, but it doesn't really matter because you're laying in the grass and you found a spot that the music is a little quieter, and one of the sort of like banners that is streaming over, connecting from like one tent to another, is just kind of perfectly placed that it's casting a shadow over your eyes. You don't have to even shade your face from the sun. And prior, when you were walking through the crowd, when it was getting to be a bit much, were you wearing your mask?
Yeah, I think Art has developed this tendency in the short amount of time since the masking ceremony, which has been like a day or so, but like anytime they find themselves in I would say in like an unusual situation, so like crowded eating area, not that bad because they're used to it, but crowded, like walking around this crowd in the circus, they bring their mask up and put it on because it's not, he doesn't feel super weird about it because it's been said that people do it, and it's a way to kind of like hide a little bit.
Absolutely. It's like a mask to mask.
It's like he's masking or something.
Been waiting on that one.
Laying in the grass and with the sun, you found yourself sort of taking it off, and you're laying there with the mask still in your hand on by your side, just out on the grass. And as you find a moment of peace, a moment of quiet, relative quiet, stillness in yourself, you feel the mask almost paying attention to this. You feel a connection to your mask. And as your thoughts sort of wander to moments of crowds, to moments of time, you think to your masking ceremony as you... It's not that your mask is like a being that is paying attention, but you feel a sort of connection, like an attunement with your mask in that moment. And when you think back to the crowds and to the masking ceremony itself, you think back to being tasked with attuning to this mask to begin with. Not knowing what exactly was being asked of you, but doing it to the best of your ability in a limited time frame.
Yeah.
Here in a space that is to your time, to your pace, and not the pace of others, you feel almost a completion of the attunement, of actually connecting with yourself and your inner being, and not the mask that you had figuratively on at the ceremony. And as you open your eyes and look down at the mask, you see the inside of it, the hues that are inside of it shift. And gradually, still the gradient, still a range of colors, just the hues are shifting slightly, radially. And as it does, it settles again. And you recognize that you have shifted something in the mask and found a better fit for yourself.
Yeah, and I think knowing that fit, Art kind of like looks at the mask for a second, and like while this is their conscious decision, they still have this like partially scrunched up face that just reads like, is that really what I want? I'm like, okay.
All right. And mechanically, the relic boon, the minor gift that was gifted to your mask, is different now. But our other players don't get to know what it is yet. No!
How dare you? I am offended.
I will fight you.
Literally. Roll initiative right now.
All right, Tal.
Hi.
At this point, you've had some conversations with your brother about your uncle.
Yeah, mostly just like a sad party of just like, can you believe him?
And you've learned some interesting insight in that conversation, and it was very like your brother at first did not really want to, like, they were just there for you. They were like, yeah, you know how he is. Mm-hmm. And with a little bit of digging, you were able to kind of uncover a different perspective, maybe, or just a little bit more of an understanding of what exactly is going on there. I believe we had mentioned this off camera. Is this correct?
This is correct, and I gotta be honest, I don't remember what I remember talking about it, but not what the
Perfect. So
yeah.
let's zoom over fresher. So you basically are told something you hadn't thought of, that this trip from your family and the circus, outside of their usual patterns, has actually negatively impacted the finances of the troupe and the circus. They had made a decision to and you remember this well, the one festival that you go to every year, the circus goes to every year, in one of the towns, that is probably one of your biggest like money makers, that sustains your way of life, wouldn't be able to be like made. The timing of it wouldn't be able to be made, if they travel back after this, and they still made the call because of Grandmother Olu, who insisted to come. And your uncle is the like financier of your troop, of your
He's the
caravan.
CFO.
He is in charge of the coffers, the finances. He pays everybody. He is the treasurer, and you didn't even really consider that. Not that it excuses your brother's quick to remind you shitty behavior, but he very gently kind of just says, like, I think he's just a little worried. But he's still a jerk to you.
Yeah, that's not. Just has a different color to it.
Yeah, but that's... Oh, and he hears like this music cue that signifies the wrap up of like the last show, that everybody goes out to kind of do that last little like crowd work of these are all the performers, and kind of interrupting the conversation is just like, come on, let's go.
Oh, no. I need to catch up to my friends.
Just think about, come on, it's the bell.
Okay.
And joining them for that little finale, you do an initial kind of like join with everybody in the bow, but you're quick to kind of leave and try to get back into the crowd, but you actually do not find Hideaki and Airfei in the spots that you left them.
Okay. Tal's first reaction is, oh, they probably went to go find Ark.
Sure.
Tal abandoned the show. Like, Tal abandoned y'all to go behind the scenes for a bit. So, like, that's their initial reaction. Now, they don't know where in the world's Ark went. So I think they're just gonna, like, slip out while the rest of the
show wraps up.
Yeah, and just kind of try to find any of them, honestly.
Sure. Yeah. Let's make a perception check. A general perceiving.
I love perceiving.
But where is it, though?
But actually, for real, though, because I'm using a
Right.
So, like, it's for real,
So
though.
nerdword.com.
You want to know where the fuck perception is.
Right?
You can be confused with everybody else, but you can wear a cool shirt while being confused.
Check out our merch.
Okay, but I actually don't know.
I should buy that shirt for my birthday.
I designed it myself.
It's gorgeous.
Okay, question, because I wasn't looking at chat. Did I get any extra hero points
Oh,
No.
wonderful question.
at the beginning?
Nope.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I
just
will
wanted
trust
to make
everybody
sure.
else.
Only star
Okay.
and
There it is.
Syrup.
Ooh.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks, Jordan.
Well, that's a
Thanks,
sick, sexy 8 then.
Yo.
Gorgeous. You do not see Ark. And it takes you a second and you don't really see anybody. However, as you kind of leave early, one of the attendants that sort of is charged with kind of just keeping an eye on the perimeter of the tent for anybody trying to like sneak under and stuff like that sees you, and he's just like, oh, Tal, your friends, right? The fox guy, the pale girl. So I think the pale girl like passed out, and
What?
he took her into the med tent.
Oh, okay, thank you. And I'm gonna just go over there, confused as for so confused.
So I had to resist saying the foxy looking fella.
Oh God!
I
You
mean,
should have.
I mean,
bullshit.
speak truth, yo.
He's a cutie.
I had to share it anyways. So you go on to find the med tent, which you know very well. Cutting back
Not
into
that
the
well.
med tent as Tal makes her way. You see this handprint go away, Hideaki, and in that moment, a heartbeat passes, a second, a third, and there's a gasp from Arafe as they open their eyes.
Hey there, stranger. Sorry if you're wet a lot. That's not. How are you feeling?
Your
How
face
are you
is
feeling?
pretty damp, and it's odd.
Moist, even.
Moist.
Moist towelette.
You see a cloth in Hideaki's hand.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
She's gonna also, in that split second, instantly then move to look for her shadow.
You see your shadow.
Just places her hand on it. I don't know if she expects anything from that, but
What subconsciously or otherwise, like, are you looking for it? Are you looking for reassurance as you reach out? Are you looking for just the confirmation of the presence? What are you seeking?
I think just in that moment she's looking to make sure it's there, just because of the experience that they just went through. And I think it's just because what just happened is it reached out for her and grabbed her. Her instant response is to like just reach back. I don't know if she has any expectation of anything happening from that. It's just an instinct to like reach out for someone you think's in trouble, essentially.
Yeah, it's odd because shadow usually moves when you move, kind of a deal. But you pick your hand up for a second to go reach it, and the shadow remains where it was. And you reach down to grab it, almost as they reached out to your forearm and grasped it. You kind of reach back out to their arm, and their arm wraps around yours, kind of in a like a arm to arm shake, but gentle.
Okay.
Hideaki, you see this shadow comes out 3-dimensionally and grips Arafe. Tal, you walk in around soonish, so take your whenever you feel like it. Go.
So, 3 things, I think. 1, how are you feeling?
Tired.
Totally fair. 2, old friend? New friend?
Yes.
Not the weirdest thing I've seen before. Thirdly,
Discussion I think we have to have.
you don't have to if you don't want to.
I think we should. I think
Okay. And thirdly, and kind of points to your arm. Don't know what that situation was, but there was kind of like a weird imprint there for a sec. I don't know
At
if that's...
this moment, Tal bursts into the tent.
Perfect.
Okay.
Great.
And I will say, at that moment, outside, that same individual who's been doing rounds around the tent to make sure that nobody's trying to stay inside or sneak inside, comes across you, Ark. And just sort of like, at first not seeing you, because they're kind of like, they're doing a light little like jog perimeter. And then they like kind of almost stop themselves short from tripping on your foot. And they're like, you're another one of Tal's friends, right?
No.
Oh, okay. They went, didn't you come in with them?
Yes.
All right. You good? kind of looking down at you, just laying in the grass.
I think so, yes. The show was enjoyable.
Out. Great. That's great. I'm glad you had a good time. I'm gonna keep going, but if you looking for them, they're in the med tent. He just keeps walking.
Did somebody get hurt?
Looking kind of back over his shoulder. I don't know. The pale girl passed out, I think.
Okay. Art, like, gets up, not in a rush, but not slowly either, and then just starts to walk towards the med tent.
Do you put your mask back on?
If he comes across a big crowd, yes. If not, then no.
You have to go back
but
into the main
not
thoroughfare
immediacy.
to get there.
Then yes, he would.
Okay. Continue as Tal bursts in.
Hey, Tal, great show.
Hal's just like like moving quickly over and like is sitting next to wherever Arafe is and is just like wide-eyed looking at you to see if there's like a limb's missing or like something's wrong.
I am tired, but okay.
Are you sure?
Yes? Yes. Yes.
I'll like look over at Hideaki. Is she okay?
I think so. I've spent the last several minutes worrying that wasn't the case, but I think so. But I will say, it's really weird for things to have been flipped on their head like this. So I would just take the opportunity to ask, do you feel like you overextended yourself?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, it literally points at you.
Okay. No. I think this was a special occasion. I remember something.
Really?
Yeah.
Great.
So, productive sleep, I guess?
By the way,
Tired.
Art comes in at this point and says, "So you were just asleep, not passed out."
Passed out for a longer period of time.
it was a seed.
It's sudden and unintentional.
That I can definitely confirm.
And it is
I'm
fine
sorry
now.
if we... Yes. Like I said,
I think so.
tired, bit exhausted, but generally fine. We'll get better.
Okay.
But
Art
I do
takes his
feel a little
mask
bit... I do feel a little bit bad, Tal, that we ruined your show.
No.
That's
Did you get to see it?
We saw most everything, but I think the big finale.
we missed a bit.
And Star or Arafe, you recall, like thinking now that you're thinking the circus and everything, like you saw most, a little probably over half of Tal's part of the show before it was this like spinning moment where Tal and their brother were like just doing this tandem motion. That is when you kind of got knocked out. You can, bridge those gaps however you need.
I got to see a good chunk of it. You're very good.
You should be really proud of yourself. It was awesome.
Thanks.
It sounded like it was very good.
Yeah, what did you end up doing, Arc 2?
I listened to it behind the tent.
Cool.
Did you get to relax a bit?
Yes.
I'm still holding on to the shadow.
By the way,
Oh, okay.
Art glances down at it and like quickly.
Hal also glances at it. Yeah.
And Ark would quickly return to the conversation as if normal because he just assumes it's some kind of magic.
yeah.
There's this
By the way-
moment where, as like you all of you kind of turn down and look at the shadow, that it does let go of you, Arife, and just does this sort of like wave with a hand.
Cool.
Yeah.
Quite time. Wait, hang on. Wait, I need. Well, hold on. Hang on. Wait, I need
yep.
reclarification. So, in
Yes, please.
Centipede Town, Centipede fight. The centipede fight in the kitchen.
Oh wow, yeah, what a walk. Okay, I was like, Centipede Town. What town are you talking about?
The show I haven't watched.
Yeah, I was like, the video game Centipede.
I thought we
The
were going
Mike
to a
in
really
Midtown
bad
is the
movie.
one that Hideaki.
Yeah.
So when we were in
The kitchen.
with
Yeah.
the
Centipede Town.
centipedes, Centipede Town, Arafe's shadow was a separate, made noise, was a separate thing,
Oh,
vocalized.
you heard it, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
held it
think
for
in the
sure.
moment, I, as Tal, was too focused on the,
Not dying?
Ark almost dying. Yeah. With all
I
of
was
all
about
that.
to say, I think Ark was knocked out at that point. I don't think he ever
Yep.
hit it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some distraction.
Sure.
But I think it was just auditory though. I don't think necessarily Tal visually saw anything. Right? I want to make sure I'm remembering correctly before I
Yeah.
make a choice.
I think I recall that as well. I think you heard it say something, I think. But you weren't
Yeah.
sure where that voice came from, but you knew
Okay.
it was an Araphase. I recall something like that.
And
That's what we'll go
Okay.
with.
yeah,
okay,
and
okay,
if
okay.
not, then that's the story from now on. If you don't like it, call in.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Wait, hydrate,
If you
who
don't
cares?
like that, make sure that you're in our chat constantly to let us
Right.
know.
Join
Yeah.
our Discord.
1-800 Overnoser will fight you.
Oh boy.
Okay. So yeah, I think then the reaction, to bring it back, is Tal's just kind of pointing at it, and then just points to you, and then points at it and resists the urge to wave back.
Tell.
Yes.
You have your mask on you?
Oh, I thought
I think it's on-
I thought you were talking against the shit. I was about to lose my shit.
I was about to explode. No, it's on my belt right now, because this is
Okay,
where
but-
Tal is
and
most
that's-
comfortable. So
That's how
it
you
is
present
on my
it, but
person.
it's
Yes.
attuned
Yeah.
to still and on your person.
Yes.
Also, just to kind of throw a little extra one in there is Tal did see her shadow when Tal was in the forest as well.
Yes.
you did see two.
That's
right.
I
Not two
did see
Araphase.
two. I did
You
see a
did.
shadow. I did.
It's-
Okay, perfect. Then that is
Even
still their
better.
reaction, is they're going to point to that and then point to you, but it's more like a wait a second. Oh, wait a minute.
Calculating.
Wait.
In this moment, as you are
Wait.
calculating, because you have your mask on your person and you do have Shadow Plane lore, would you like to make a recall knowledge check?
Oh my god, I'd love to. I would love to. Hang on.
Love
Hold
that
on.
for you.
Yes.
This is what you do now.
Okay,
This is it.
recall knowledge. Da, 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 da,
And you, sorry, roll the lore, the Shadow Plane lore.
Dan Lord, throw Dan Lord.
Okay.
That delicious.
I
Lord.
don't remember what.
I believe you
My
become
goodness.
trained in it, so if you have a modifier for anything you're trained in that's intelligence based, it'll be that same mod.
I have another lore that I'm trained in, so I'll just use that number.
Okay.
17.
Okay.
Yes.
Shadow Plane. Couple things. Fetchlings, which is what Arafe is. These sort of gray, monochromatic individuals. They come from the Shadow Plane, whatever that means. Now, that doesn't mean that they're every person is from there, right? But heritage-wise, they are from the Shadow Plane. There is something that is known with fetchlings, because of their attunement to the Shadow Plane, that very often their shadows do not act like other shadows. That is a thing with fetchlings, that their shadows dance or mimic or kind of other creatures. It's not a shadow like your shadow is.
They funky.
That's something known with fetchlings and Shadow Plane. Reading Rainbow.
Oh.
Continue.
The more you know.
Bum,
Huh.
bum, bum, bum.
Knowledge is power.
Okay, yeah, no. So the pointing was happening, and then is this? I have 2 questions. Is this how you use your magic? Pointing at the shadow.
I don't think so. That kind of comes from me, but also some of it, I think.
Okay. Second
Do you-
question.
Did you look down at the shadow to ask it that, Erife?
Kind of, yeah.
You see it kind of do this sort of like.
Hey, what are you gonna do? I'm the shadow.
Okay. Second question. Is this what I saw in that forest place when I died? The one
dream.
that was standing with you? Tal visibly rolls their eyes.
Yeah, Hideaki just goes like a grunt sigh, like ugh.
At this point, both Hideaki and Tal have been there, so
Listen, where 2 or more are gathered, so too is whatever my patron is.
The
halfway
truth.
I think so. And it's probably something I should have talked about earlier.
So,
But-
it's
yeah.
it's an actual thing. It's not just.
This is Yafira.
the formal introduction. So Erife, you've seen this once before when they've reached, like you saw them like reach out from the ground itself into some 3D, but barely lasted a second before they backed into the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this moment, at the formal introduction, it's almost like this shadow sits up a little bit, 3-dimensionally kind of forming out of the ground, just very small, very much kind of like a hunched, kind of crouched figure, as it kind of looks up, with again waving, and then you all hear, "Hello."
Oh, cool!
The tiniest little like from Tal.
So cute.
Very surprised.
So, you've gotten stronger? That did help then?
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what helped? What helped? What helped? What happened? What?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Anytime. Anytime.
Ark looks skeptical.
Erife, did you accidentally tear at your own soul? Is that just what we do now?
I think so. I'm
Erife,
not
are you tired or are you hurt?
both.
Okay. All right.
But yes,
It's hard to tell. She's very pale already.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
extra pale. I'm a little ashy. Sorry.
A little washed out.
Washed out.
Makes my hat even more ironic.
Tal would
I had
reach
to
out
then
then.
read that. Sorry, go ahead.
Tal would reach their hands out and like do the gimme motion for one of your hands. Gimme.
Okay. She'll put her hand out to you.
I'm gonna cast Spirit Link.
Hey.
I don't think Arife's ever had something like this cast back on her
No, I
before.
don't think so.
Interesting. Now, Erica, you
Um,
usually exude life force. You usually glow when you activate your curse and have vines pulling out from you. What does this look like when Tal does it? And this is not a curse, but lifelinks.
So I think it doesn't have to be touch. But in this specific instance, I think when Tal is doing it, this is, I think, the first time Tal has done this not out of desperation.
Yeah.
And so I think they take one of or both of Airface's hands in theirs, kind of like a little cage. And then I think there's just this this kind of golden glow in their palms. If you were to look between them, it would kind of look like a cat's cradle kind of string situation.
Threads.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, that just kind of like emanates from there, but gold sparkly feelings all over your body. But you regain 2 hit points.
That works for me.
I lose
every little
2,
bit.
but that does last for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So if you're below your max hit points, you'll regain 2 hit points. So essentially, over the next 10 minutes, let me tell you how many hit points you're going to get back, and I'm going to lose.
Oh, dip.
Sterling, bro.
Oh, dip.
Yo.
No, let me, I'll give you 10.
That works for me. That'll put me almost back up to full, so.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great.
Can Art do something vastly uncalled for in this moment?
I
I
love
would
this.
love nothing more.
Please.
100%
Do it.
I think while this is happening, hearing the voice from it, Ark wants to very quickly draw his stick and swipe at the shadow.
Yes.
I love that so much.
Okay. If everyone's good with this, I think everybody is.
Yep.
Go ahead and make an attack roll.
So excited for this.
17 plus 9, 26.
26.
Okay.
So this has been happening. Airface focused on Tal as they're life linking and receiving, these hit points back, and Hideaki's kind of still sitting in that chair to the side of the cot, and kind of having stepped in last, unexpectedly, Ark, taking the staff out, steps like almost around, because this is not the biggest tent, from around behind Tal, as these person right before to enter the room, swipes the staff through the shadow. You watch it cleanly slice kind of through the shadow, as if the shadow was not there, and the shadow sort of melds down and comes back up like to the other side of it. What was that?
And Ark puts the staff back up, lets the healing continue and stuff, and at this point he thinks that this is a very interesting spell.
You would recognize just from the sort of mechanical brain aspect of Ark, this is not necessarily a targetable creature in this current moment.
Yeah.
And as they kind of come, they kind of, it's almost like they slumped into the ground and just kind of came back up just a little bit again afterwards, though it definitely went through the shadow.
Yeah.
They just kind of you see the head in profile turn towards Arafe.
I guess she would have. Sorry, go ahead.
Rude.
Yeah, she would have kind of noticed the swing goes.
Arc 2!
And okay, I think I learned something at least. Good to know. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, but do they mean harm?
Well,
Ark?
okay. Oh, okay. But we could ask you the same question. Do you mean? And I'm still holding your hands, and I'd raise them up and shake them. Do you mean her harm?
Never. I mean, I didn't. Most of that came from something else. Not me.
Ooh, secrets.
Yafira's trapped. I got her
Huh.
trying to help her free.
Arafe. It's just a soft sort of like careful, like a very like Yafira is guarded and her guard is up.
If there's anyone in this world we can trust, it's these three.
And Art, to answer the question that was asked, looks at Arafe, not at the shadow, and says, "No, if I meant harm, I would have hit you."
That's fair.
Fair enough. But don't feel too bad. You're not the only one trapped. You'll summon overdose.
I think our situations are a little different, but
They are. But
pleasure
yet,
to make your
bonding.
acquaintance. He's just like, I guess this is happening here. It is very crowded in here, and at this
I was
point,
about to
the
ask how
medic
cramped this-
who had
yeah.
stepped back into the tent is just like, okay, there are a lot of people here. Oh, you're up. Okay, how are you feeling? Okay, I need to get to the patient, please. Just like moving you all aside.
It's behind a
Yafira,
I'm not in the way.
dragon moves around and Art gets
so many people.
squeezes past
There
the
is
two
a dragon
animal
in
people.
here. Okay. All right. I'm gonna ask everybody to step outside for me, real quick, please. And like is ushering you all out. Not you, to Arafe. Yafira has slunk down and is just a shadow at this point. She will simply kind of give you a once over, make sure you're okay. Seeing that you've already been slightly healed, she will kind of just. She can give you like the general sort of treat wounds action if you'd like. You can also wave her away if you do not wish for that. That would take like 10 minutes if needed.
I'm all right, but thank you for taking care of me.
You sure? I have some. Okay. All right. So does this happen often?
Never.
Passing out? Never. Okay. Listen. Get some cotton candy. Get some sugar in your blood. And hope I don't see you in here again. Okay. Enjoy the circus. And we'll usher you out.
And as she walks out, she goes, "I have been prescribed cotton candy. We must go get some."
Okay.
At this point, you all take a little bit of time to wrap up your experience at the circus. You feel free to, everyone can make their own decisions if they wish to continue to play any of the games and things like that. You have some cotton candy. It feels a little bit off. Like Arafe, you still feel like you're still reeling from the depth of everything, and coming out from the shadow plane where the sound dissonance and shadow and color dissonance. When you step out of the tent, it's a little bit of a lot. There's a lot of color, a lot of lights, and a lot of sound. And the contrast is, you just feel like a little bit of a migraine. Like, it's been a lot. So with that sort of mood and setting, you can grab some cotton candy. You can try to decompress, grab some snacks. Tal, yeah.
I want to do one thing as we leave, as a parting thing.
Okay.
I want to have a parting last word with my uncle.
Nice.
Ooh.
Can I ask a question before we do that?
Yes.
So as we're cotton candying, hey Tal. So first of all, again, awesome job. Can't wait to come back at some point. Personal question: do you know anyone that's a follower of Fate by chance?
Very strange and specific question.
Yep. It's not a no.
You
It's not a no. Could have an answer.
followers of Fate.
I have an answer based on inferred knowledge, not actual knowledge. That's it.
Outright, like, roll
I like dice.
Yeah, make a society check. There we go.
Society, you say?
Society.
In this society?
Wait, let me
Natural
know.
20, 23.
Nice.
Jesus Christ.
First net 20 of the year.
Amazing.
All right, one
That's
second.
fucking awesome.
Excellent. I appreciate this.
Oh, hey, me too.
Okay. So, in general, like, you would, any other day walking through, someone would be like, followers of fate would not, I mean, fate, yes, like, the words, me and followers of fate, they strike you a little funny because, oh man, fate has been funny with you, that's for sure. You know, it's kind of those types of things. But as you say that and you're about to kind of give that general answer of like, I mean, like, you mean people that fate, this like natural 20 thread in the back of your brain for some reason.
Threads, you say?
Flashes
Connection.
back to like, you swear you saw those words on like a book when you were young. It was odd, you're not quite sure, but you vaguely recall it just comes in like the picture of it. It was red with kind of gold inlay, thin book. We had a calligraphy, Followers of Fate, and you saw it in your grandmother's caravan.
My head instantly went to the whatever wizard thing that my grandmother was a part of, and perhaps she maybe took it from that place.
Mm-hmm.
Wink. I mean, my grandmother has a book that's like that. It's kind of uncanny that it's almost exactly titled that.
Hmm.
And
What kind of
fate
look?
is fate is a kind of a. I'm learning about it a bit. Might be more intricately related to things in my family. Why?
Oh. Well, there's certainly someone over here who's asking me if I could ask around about maybe talking to someone that is a follower.
Hal
of
just
fate.
like cocks ahead and looks directly at Overnosa. Why don't you just ask me then?
His nostrils just kind of flare. He just breathes out. Oh, you talking to Overnosa?
Yeah, it was directly at Overnosa.
and Hideaki
I was
is
addressing the
amused.
dragon.
Yes, super amused by this.
This was a private conversation that I happened to have with Hideaki in the moment. Would you like me to share all our private conversations with you?
I actually wouldn't
In the
mind.
background, yeah.
I mean, if you're
Yes,
asking.
actually, that would make this very, very easy.
Look, we just all need to be more honest with each other.
He's hoity. Like,
Yeah, Tal just kind of like frustrated, like throws up hands a little bit and just says, "What if you have questions? Just ask.
I did.
Ask people who might know."
I didn't know that you would know. I asked Hideaki.
And then I asked you. I think we're all caught up now. I feel like this shouldn't be this frustrating.
No, no, it shouldn't.
So, can we ask
if you
your grandma?
have any cotton
Well, not
candy
grandma,
in your
damn it.
hand right now, Overnosa kind of like just walking by, like kind of like, you know, trying to like fake leave the conversation, will lean over and absolutely like just chomp the entirety of whatever cotton candy is in Hideaki's
Mine?
hand.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, amazing.
and just like chomp away and like walking around over there.
You know what? I feel like that's going to come back to literally bite me, and I appreciate that.
You want to go to my grandmother and say, "I want to borrow a book of yours"? Or
I mean,
and also like gesture towards the dragon who's walking away.
right.
For an undisclosed reason. Has he even told you why?
Genuine
wants-
GM question. Remind me when Overnosa asked this of you.
It was the end of episode 24, right when we were on the way here to the circus.
Was
You
he
were
like
like-
look? He was like look into it.
Find someone to ask.
Got it. Okay. I believe that it will provide some answers to these threads that seem to follow you around, which would not be my business or care if you had not chosen to tie. You see this hesitation as he like almost goes my, then just goes Hideaki into it. Your grandmother has the book. Where is she? You see, like looking up. Like, this
I look at
dragon.
Tala. I'm just like, I'm so mouthing like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Tal's ears are like just very slowly like
This is-
turning, like in very
Not going
increasing
well.
frustration at this damn dragon.
God damn.
Nim's like up on your shoulder, like just watching this conversation.
Making it better.
curious? You just hear it in your head.
You're not helping, they say out loud to Nim.
You want me to help? I can help.
As much as I really want to use a spell to just like pocket Nim away in an extra dimension, I'm not
You
going
go
to.
away.
You heard
Not
John.
right now.
Fine, we can go stop and see if she's at her. Fine. But you,
so-
pointing at Overnosa, don't get to say, leave her alone.
You just see him kind of look over at you, like not even. This is the obnoxious part. Like he's like wandering through like kind of like nearby stalls or whatever, and as you point and you're talking to him, and he does this sort of like look over his shoulder of like, oh, what me? Like not even fully turning to look at you. Okay, and just keeps going like.
Let's out a frustrated like grunt, and then he's gonna go try to find their grandmother's Vardo wagon.
And you start to
So-
walk, Tal. Hideaki just like, wait a second. Hold on.
We'll stop and
You
we'll turn
don't-
and say, "What?"
You. Never mind. Look, I was just gonna say we don't have to if you don't want to do this. Like this is.
Can you guarantee that Overnos is not just going to break into my grandmother's living space and take it anyway?
Actually, yes. Watch this. And I unmanifest him. Yeah, actually, I can. Don't. And he just wants me to say, like, don't. So yeah, I can guarantee that.
Ark, do you have a sassy little side friend that you want to bring out at this moment?
No.
Exactly what he needs.
And by the way, that is a promise that I'm definitely going to keep.
I wanted to go say goodbye anyway. I'm just gonna go turn and continue walking, less frustratedly now.
So you head to your grandmother's wagon, and she is there. She's resting. She seems a little bit winded from the show.
I
but-
make everyone wait outside.
Excellent.
Totally fair.
That's fair. When you bring this book up, she looks at you for a second. Yes, I can. It didn't. You see her kind of like start a couple of times. Just don't... Be careful. And it doesn't provide much, but I think it'll give you some answers. Tal? And you see her actually kind of like steel herself to sit up a bit, because she was kind of resting in her bed / like bench thing on the side of the
Yeah,
caravan.
and I would have sat on that. So
Yeah.
that, yeah.
They're not to be trifled with. And she goes and gets up, leaning on her cane a little more than she did when she was
on
stage.
her.
And she's a little flustered by this. She's like, oh, is it like she's not very comfortable being helped kind of deal, but she does accept it. You should not go to the usual bookcase that has some of the books that she displays, but she actually goes into a drawer, and underneath a couple pile of paperworks is a thin, very small red book with gold inlay cover, that reads The Followers of Fate. And you feel this even within you as a book to go through at another time. And finishing up the conversation with your grandmother, thanking her and stepping out, is when, because you're backstage now, out away from the rest of the shows, is where you see your uncle kind of passing by over there.
Hang on, and I'm gonna give the book to Hideaki. And
thank you. I kind of yell.
Jog over towards him and say, Tiger, you can wait.
Oh. Yes, Tal. Can I help you?
Paul just kind of stands there, trying to figure out how to say the words in a way that she likes.
And he's not being the most patient, he's watching you, and that pressure is not helping either.
Right. I'm sorry that you're going to miss the festival because you came here. Know that that's important for everyone. But this is important for me too.
Right. Well. And you, there's this don't. I'm sure it is comforting to you. You see him look down at some papers and clipboard that's in his hand. And you can't tell if he's just stalling for time or actually reading through something.
Cal, in that moment then, will dig in their very, very sparse coin bag and pull out 2 silver pieces and hand them to Tyrone.
I will say, because you did provide the money earlier that was then attached to his belt by Ark, you reach into your bag and you have maybe a copper or 2 pieces in there. It's empty.
Then they go to do that, and then they don't. They don't.
Well, regardless, we will make do, and I hope that everyone's here, and he's like looking like out at the canvas that is this circus, finds comfort in your visit just as much as the lack of pay they will get. And he means it very like matter of factly, though it does like hurt. Good day. And he just like turns. And for your records and for your
That's the nicest conversation we've
that's
ever
the
had.
nicest conversation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Tao
a
was
win.
thinking. Tao was Tao was biting back the impulse to say, "So why don't you like me?"
And funnily enough, like you can tell, like he was biting back multiple retorts as well.
Yeah.
Thanks to the starting off of your apology. And with that winding down, you all turn and eventually make your way back through Natambu, back to the Magaambya. Slowly as you return, thinking and pulling your thoughts away from the day's events and towards the following days, responsibilities, unknown, and you feel a sense of known danger ahead, responsibility ahead, and tasks ahead. And you set yourself to preparing to get back into the swing of things, which is where we'll take our break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Amazing. Good job, y'all.
Yay, circus!
Hooray!
Hooray. A circus well done, y'all. And memories unlocked for Aerofay. I'm excited.
Yeah! Let's
So
go!
excited.
Oh my god!
So yeah, we'll be right back. So please stick around. We have, I don't know, the beginning / diving into the last chapter of book 1 ahead of us, and that's
y'all
what
remember when there were, you remember?
Test.
Y'all remember? There's a book.
What? What's that?
Remember the book.
Oh, Stone Ghost, fuck you. Okay, I'm ready. I'm back.
So, go ahead, take your light lunch breaks here, and we'll meet you guys back in class
In the
in
cafeteria.
just a little bit. Please rest, please stretch, please hydrate,
Okay.
and we'll meet you back here in just a little bit. Bye. Welcome back. Hello.
Hello.
Oi.
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 You make your trip back from the circus and situate yourselves for rest, knowing the task the following day. You are informed on your return to campus that you will be met at steps to the Archhorn Library. I don't know why I started over that for a second. So they ask basically that you report in the morning to the Archhorn Library, you're familiar with, and you settle in, rest, converse, look through your things, prepare yourselves, your inventories, your adventuring gear. You stop by Zokan's shop and realize you're not the only ones preparing. And as you return to campus, there is a flurry of activity, of purpose, of focus from multiple groups, and it's odd because you see like groups of 3 people here running across campus. You see someone with reports in their hands running across this way. There is purpose. It's not full chaos. It's just organized offshoots of different tasks being enforced. Even when you went through Natambu, you noticed a couple more delegates from the Magaambya than perhaps you would normally see out and about, entering a building here, doing that. There is investigations occurring throughout. And Zokan, likewise affected by this flurry of activity, is waiting on another shipment, is limited in fully everything that he has, but you find what he do has. You find
You do have what he do.
and you buy what you want. And you do prepare yourselves for who knows what ahead, for peace of mind. With that, we begin chapter 3. And as all chapters begin, we begin with a story.
Yeah!
The Queen of Bees was stern and judicious, always striving to make the best decisions, yet her subjects were dour and sullen. The young trickster, a favorite of Grandmother Spider, went to the Queen of Bees with a smile and a plan. But 2 guards at the gates stopped him. "What do you want, little troublemaker?" they buzzed, stingers at the ready. "Our queen has no use for your antics on this or any other day. Be gone." "I am here to give your queen a great gift," the trickster insisted. "You would never want to deny your queen a gift out of hand, would you? I could go to the Lord of the Hornets. Please, one of you should ask her first at least." 1 guard, head high, went to inform the queen. For a long time, the remaining guard and the young trickster stood in silence. So the young trickster hummed to himself, tapped his many feet, and started to dance. "Stop that," the guard thrummed in annoyance and rushed forward. But the young trickster swept him into his dance, dancing and twirling. What fun it was! Soon the other guard returned. "What is happening here?" the returning guard demanded, but received no answer. The returning guard tried to intervene, but was swept into the dance as well. The queen's steward and architect and handmaidens all came, each joining the dance in turn. Then the queen herself came, for what had befallen her subjects. By now the young trickster stood aside, watching the bees. The queen saw their dancing and their delight. "Young trickster, you have given my people a new way to communicate. What is your price for this?" "It is enough to see you join the dance," the trickster said. So she did. And that is how bees learned to speak through dance. Then some people learned from watching them, and they made their own dances. And this is why so many dances tell stories. You guys want to look at the pretty picture?
Yes, please. Oh.
Content warning, bees.
Yes, bees
Yeah,
and a
very
spider.
fair.
I will take a picture and show it because it's not coming up. The trickster is a little spider with his many feet. And as we go into chapter 3, by all means, content warning, bugs aplenty.
Bugs.
How
We're back into
shocking.
bugs.
We're back in the bugs, everybody.
So,
Spoilers.
initiates, nay. Cut him. Attendance, if you will. You, as the morning comes, gather beneath Archhorn Library. Not beneath, in front of. Beneath the steps, below the steps, whatever you call it. Teacher Ott and Teacher Ulawa are standing on the wide stone steps to the Archhorn Library. While Teacher Ott is carefully reviewing a sheaf of papers, Teacher Ulawa looks annoyed. Ulawa is Kuride, by the way, just to clarify. And the corner of her mouth is a sneer. How good of you to finally arrive, she says. Your little cohort is far from my first choice for something so critical to... Kuride, please, Teacher Ott says softly but firmly, and then turns to you all. After your services to the Magaambya during the first masking, we feel you are ready for an important task. Something is going on beneath Tireless Hall, and indeed beneath... And you see him kind of like showing a little bit of his, where, more of the Magaambya than we first realized. We're sending groups of students into the tunnels we have discovered in an effort to map them as thoroughly as possible. You will be one of these groups. Teacher Ott points across to where like Tireless Hall is across campus. There's where the attack occurred. But in the lowest levels of all of these buildings, he waves to the buildings around Tireless Hall, we found more tunnels. Many lead to old cave networks and now connected together by recent digging, intentional, directed digging. Teacher Ulawa picks up the explanation. I sent some students into the basement here in Archon Library to explore and map the caves. It rapidly became obvious that this would be a more involved task than we originally anticipated. I withdrew that group, and you'll be going in. You may even manage to make it back in one piece. She chuckles grimly. Well, we'll at least wait and see how you manage before sending in the inevitable help. And Teacher Ott steps aside and gestures to the library building. The first group's notes should still be in the basement. We can hope that Kuride's hand-picked students were comprehensive before learning that their feet might get muddy and then pleading to be a different assignment. Teacher Ulawa shrugs. Their skills were needed elsewhere, Takulu. It's up to your motley band of novices to pick up where they left off. And Takulu adds, we'll be making our own explorations beneath Tireless Hall, where we believe the danger is greater, should you need to draw us away for anything. But your task is before you as ours is before ours. And you do get the sense from this, from your time here, both in the Magaambya in general, with these teachers, with the way things work here, that yes, this is an unprecedented situation. They didn't expect this. But in a way, this is how the Magaambya operates. You are not just students. You are not just new to the school. You are responsible for yourselves. You are tasked as adults, and you are here to prove yourselves. Your responsibility, your knowledge. There is no doubt here that this task, despite being unprecedented, is still here to test you. As is all these things. So the teachers probably shouldn't be disturbed lightly in any way. But yeah, I think steel yourselves and think about what lies ahead. Recognize, well, it's one way to go from here.
Arafe's a little thrown off because Ulawa's her like primary teacher, and she's throwing serious shade her way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true,
like-
actually.
Like Tal the
she's
entire time is like, did we do something to piss her off?
Like she's my primary.
Miyagi's
teacher.
like, this is like the 13th time I pissed her off, so it's fine.
You've had like classes with teacher Lawa, and when she's like in class with everybody, like you remember this, like she picks her favorite students very clearly and very clearly favors them, and it's very annoying. Then oftentimes she'll even just like end up just talking directly with them, and you're like, I'm in class.
I'm right here.
Okay.
And correct me if I'm wrong, she's still the one that I ran into
Oh, yeah.
during the, okay.
Yep.
Okay, great.
You picked a great one to run.
I really did, and I'm so proud of it. I have a few questions, if you have a second, before we go.
Yes. What is it? Teacher Lawa's like rolls her eyes. Of course.
So, first of all, and kind of looking at Teacher Ott, did you happen to get eyes on Ignasi? Is he all right?
Yes. He was in the dorms yesterday. We found him, warned him of what you said. I believe he is tasked with a cohort. We suggested otherwise, but he rather insisted that he wasn't going to hang back.
That's not surprising.
But I did place him farther away from Tireless Hall.
Gotcha. Second question. Who is the cohort that we are relieving, I suppose?
Karita kind of comes up into this and is just like, my students that I handpicked. And are you looking for like the names of them?
If you notice who they are, yeah.
Yeah,
all.
you do not. You do not.
Okay,
She
totally
gives
fine.
you a couple people. There are other
Nothing.
attendants. The odd thing, by the way, like with the way the Magaambya works, is because it's not really like a curriculum of like, okay, you're here for a year, now you graduate, and now you're a sophomore. There are people that have been attendants for like 2 or 3 years. There's people that have like you are distinctly doing this rather quickly because of the fortunate/unfortunate series of events that have allowed you to prove yourselves.
Which is a great segue, because thirdly, he'll look at Teacher Lawa and say, thank you for continuing to underestimate us. We'll continue to be better and rise to the occasion.
I look forward to you showing that instead of speaking that.
That's all I do. Combination of both, 50-50.
She bites back a comment as Teacher Ott's like he's looking at her like, dude, come on.
You can't win this fight.
You can certainly try. I've never used that as a player before. That's fun.
So sad.
Okay. Anything else before you head into Archhorn Library? Which I keep wanting to read as like Archon for some reason, but anyways.
Ark would just have reminded everyone of the swarms that we have fought and say that he does not have the capability of large area attacks, but if others do, to please prepare.
I think I have a few ideas. Everyone feeling okay?
Did you say everyone feeling okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We don't need to hesitate though, so if there's a chance to destroy something, I'll say it now, feel free to hit me. I will likely be in the middle of them.
You got it.
We'll try our best not to, but if need be,
Sure.
I'll make sure you stay up.
Arafe, as everybody has gotten a long rest, by the way, At a successful long rest, your doomed value reduces by 1, which means you are no longer doomed in the current level.
Drained.
Yay.
Drained, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not.
I was about to be
I know
like,
what you meant.
doomed?
Doomed? Excuse me.
Doomed is
Please,
what?
let
It
us roll back
starts
a
with a
second.
D. It's the same thing.
Doomed.
Doomed is a
Doom
status in
ball.
Final
No,
Fantasy.
sorry.
Doomed is also a value in this game.
Doomed is also a one here.
I think my brain was like, it's doomed from, Final Fantasy 14, the critically acclaimed.
Yeah.
No! No! It's a new year! No!
That was
Got it
flawless.
live. That makes me so happy.
Flawless.
All right,
All
y'all.
my friends hate.
Moving into this, there's gonna be a couple of things here. So, first of all, this really was where I was incredibly grateful for Roll20 for having this all set up for me. It truly is wonderful. Thing is, I want to try to utilize the dynamic lighting that we're going to be doing on this map. What that means is all of your tokens already have the view that you have. So if you have dark vision, your token will have dark vision. If you do not see nothing, well, you see nothing. But you are welcome to have torches. You probably have torches, honestly, if that's the case, to shed light and all sorts of things like this. So I can bring that in on as you need, but because of dynamic lighting and because there is going to be vision and that type of stuff involved, the request I have, we're going to try this. We're going to see how this goes best way, and we're going to kind of make sure that doesn't interfere too much with our story and everything. But I think it does add an element. You will see your token. You'll be able to click on your token. Instead of dragging and dropping your token where you might not know because of the darkness where you're dropping it, please just click on your token and use your arrow keys. You will not be able to walk through walls that you can't walk through if you use your arrow keys. So just move around like a video game, and just be sure you're counting. And do this slowly. Like, we'll make sure that you are, following and not moving before we talk. Just, we'll do this nicely together, but we'll see how this goes, and we'll
Hand in hand.
And we'll start off like this. So, several catacombs and classrooms sprawl beneath Archhorn Library. This building hasn't been used for its purpose in quite some time, but nonetheless, most rooms are feature dry, fragrant wood paneling to keep the cold and the moisture at bay. And then where we are right now, as you kind of head down into your first, you enter, you go into the Archhorn Library, and you're going down some of these stairs into their lower subterranean floor, and you go into basically what used to be a dance studio, it seems like. There's these bars along the wall. So the wooden panels here in this long, low room have been broken apart in 4 places as you kind of step down in here. So I will bring you onto this map so you can see it. Let's not move around just yet, and let's get our lighting situated. It is dark down here. There is no lighting. I will ask, will anybody be bringing a torch or lighting any sort of form of...
I have a cantrip called Dancing Lights.
Amazing. So I will duplicate this thing for you.
4 lights. Each sheds light like a torch.
Great.
Nice.
I have torches here for you.
Arc shines for 5 feet.
For 5 feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's small, but
No, it's good. Hold on. We will have you emit bright light.
Yep.
Arafay will also cast light on, I guess, her mace or something that she carries.
Okay.
Something.
For our ease, here, if you're gonna have it on you at all times, I will just have your token emit that light if that works for everybody.
Works for me.
Nice.
never mind, I lied.
You do not.
I don't unless I do something.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Sorry.
So
got
we will have
confused.
you emanate light. Is light also like a torch? So 20 feet of bright and then 20 feet of low?
Let me double check. 20-foot radius, dim light for the next So 20 of bright, 20 of dim, yes.
Excellent. You are now emanating. All of you should be emanating. And if you look, as we've been brought to this place, there's
There
a
it is.
camera
Hi.
chicken with you.
Camera check.
I saw that.
Camera chicken.
I missed 2 arcs though, like for real.
No, there is no more
No.
camera arc. There is
No more
camera
camera arc.
chicken.
Rest in
Arc,
peace, buddy.
aka Waffles, does have access to the camera chicken. So if you ever see camera chicken near you, don't worry. It's just a camera chicken.
It's just a camera chicken.
Just a camera chicken.
What is
Don't worry
that?
about it. I will get rid of your emitting of bright light arc. All right. With that,
Really quick.
Yes.
This morning, shortly before the meeting, just a quick
Yes.
retcon thingy. Hideaki's going to take 10 minutes to cast Summoner's Precaution, which creates a buffer in the link between myself and Overnoza that allows me to access a reaction called Sever Conduit, which if Overnoza takes damage that would bring me to 0 hit points, it allows me to unmanifest him, not take the damage, but I can't manifest him for
perfect.
Wow.
To a very good point by Fumu in chat. Thank you, Fumu. As a reminder, Tal, Dancing Lights does have to be sustained, and that can come up in combat.
Yeah, we'll use an action in combat.
Thank you.
Excellent.
I got
Um,
one thing too.
Yes, please.
This morning, Ark would have gathered people, knowing that we were doing something dangerous, and asked very pointedly if everyone was going to allow him to be the one in danger. You will stay back, correct?
Define
will-
stay back.
Yeah.
Like, for how long?
Until deemed necessary to come in. Everything changes in the midst of battle, I can't say. And then he realizes, like, he's not trying to beat around the bush, but he's not explaining it correctly, so he pulls out a wand. He's like, this is extra protection, and should one of you not want to stay back, it will be used on you.
Oh.
All right.
I will stay back to the best of my ability. And give you some room.
Yeah. A little difficult between us two. But we'll try our best.
Yes.
Al thinks really hard about Can you not use it on yourself?
I can.
Mm,
That is the purpose of the question.
I think that that's more important than that you use it on yourself.
Okay, I understand. And he will cast Mage Armor on himself
Nice.
All right.
via the wand.
All right. Ultimately, I trust everybody's judgment here. Let's go do this thing, huh?
You got this.
And yes, RFA does have dark vision, but it's useful for everybody around, I believe, right?
Everybody in the club. All eyes on me.
So you walk down these steps into here, and there's the railing which spans the walls, and the low rail in the middle, which you see here, hints that this room used to maybe be served as like a dance studio. There are several desks that have been relocated here, with a few books and papers, and more papers nailed to the wood near each entrance here, that features hastily sketched maps. Looking around, I think it's kind of obvious that they left here in a hurry, whoever was here ahead of time, and left quite a few things behind. So, if anybody would like to look around and see what they left behind, feel free.
Yes.
Yes, please.
All right.
Airfay would like to look at some of the maps while going, yeah, I saved out my best people.
Yep.
Yes.
Beat me to it.
All right. So you gather the little sketches first. So you see, let's see. There are books and scrolls for everybody else around on the desk that are like have some texts about Archhorn Library itself. It looks like maybe Kuride's initial team hoped that they might get some information or schematics, but none of the like infested caverns seem to appear here in the old books that you like quickly flip through, so that doesn't really feel like of any use. The papers tacked to the walls, Airfay, do provide sketches of some of the areas ahead. Now the problem is here that I don't have the best words to describe things because there's going to be a lot of C2, C3, C4 as these areas. So what we're going to do though, as you tack through them, is you're going to have an idea of some of the situations that you're seeing here through the leftmost. If you can see where I'm pinging on the map, the leftmost two entrances here do have it looks to be like the maps show that they connect in this sort of like pool or something. There's like some like water drawn over there. It's on the left. The middle one down the ways seems to just open up into a cavern. And then the one on the right here, closest to you on the right, kind of winds its way into another open cavern. And you see them, they go about that far. Now, you do notice that down the way, it seems like the third passageway and the fourth passageway do sort of connect between these two. And there seems to be something circled on the map there with a question mark. So that seems to be as far as they wanted to go when they realized how sprawling this, like these kept opening up into these like bigger caverns, and they were like, we're gonna go. This is scary. So remember that circled question mark, and when you get there, you can look into that. The only other thing that you do catch kind of underneath some of these papers is it seems to be the students also left behind a scroll of some kind.
Best students, my ass.
Can't even pick up their own parchments.
Who was going through the books and the stuff on the desks?
Airfay and I?
Oh, okay.
Airfay was on the sketches.
Yep,
Oh, then
so-
yes, it would have been. Yeah.
Okay, You see it's like a magic scroll of some kind. I think up until now I've just given you what it is.
I mean, I'll cast
but I
magic,
do think
it's
there's
no
a way
problem.
of
I also detect
identifying.
magic.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
roll. It's a recall knowledge roll usually.
Go ahead and make a recall knowledge to identify the scroll.
Do you want to, or you want me to?
I'll
You can give
do
them a
it.
+2, I believe, right? To help. If you roll, you can roll, and
roll,
if you
right?
get a 20 or more, you can give them a +2.
I will give you a bonus.
Okay.
Then.
okay,
So
okay,
roll
okay.
roll still and see if you get over 20 to
So-
give them the bonus.
It's an Arcana
Okay.
check.
Hang on. I'm
Oh, sorry,
rolling
go
to give you the
Yeah,
bonus.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, take your time.
So this is recall. Gotta find the thing with the stuff. So recall knowledge is a.
So it would be of some kind. So you would, let's see, if a spell is a common spell from your spell list or a spell you know, you can spend a single recall knowledge action and automatically succeed at identifying the scroll spell. If it's not, you must use identify magic to learn what spell the scroll holds. Fine. Then you know what? I tire of this already. You roll some magic. I tried. I don't. It's fine.
You did your best.
I rolled
It's
really
your
good magic.
Good, great. I think because Hideaki, you use arcane magic, is that correct?
I do.
I've learned arcane magic.
True.
So does
And I rolled a 19 plus 3 in Arcana.
You know what? Though, you know what the
Damn.
funny thing about all this? It's literally in every single tradition, so I don't care. It is a scroll
Yay!
of dispel magic.
Nice.
Hey, I know that spell. No,
Now,
I don't.
remember, it is occult as well, so you could spend it. Any of you could use this or spend it. But if you wish to keep it, then Tal can have Nim eat it and then know it.
Nim needs some snacks.
Some snackies.
Little scroll charcuterie board.
Yeah. Listen, I've got 2 scrolls. I've got 1 scroll that's
Yeah.
on the back burner.
Yeah.
Yes, we were gonna go
munchkin.
into
We
that.
were going.
And if
Oh,
you
yeah.
wish to have the night before Tal have Nim eat a little scrolly scroll, a scroll cootery. I can't.
Damn
you
it,
can,
Kitty, damn.
There's one, I believe, spell scroll that you have that
Yes.
Nim can eat. Would
We
you
will
like
find
Fairy
dispel
to
magic
try?
beside of fairy fire.
I would like to give a snack of fairy fire to my familiar.
Little buddy.
Good. 1 second.
Arc,
Snack time.
Arc would remind you as well that he can copy scrolls into his spellbook, and then potentially in the future
Eat it.
write scrolls as well.
So he can ingest it and then make more copies
And then
potentially.
regurgitate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guppy.
Like a
He can make
bird.
a copy of the scroll for your Nim to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
That's
for us.
smart, and I like it.
Mm.
You can use learn a spell exploration activity. Okay, cool. I think that is actually just it. So that night you laid this scroll out as you kind of find it still like on one of the shelves in your room, realizing you never actually had Nim eat this, and you're not quite sure how that works. And so you kind of show it off, like you give it to Nim, and you're like, "Can you learn this?" And Nim sits there, looking at it. He's just like, "Yeah, I can. But like, I'm not just gonna eat the paper." And then like, walks you through it. You take like some bowl and you do some a bit of an odd sort of like ritual of a kind, and it takes about an hour as you read through the scroll, do this ritual, end up burning it into this bowl, and in which eventually Nim consumes the ashes of the spell scroll which you burn, and they now know this spell, and it is still an option for you. It's now in their repertoire, so to speak, and you can now pick it on your list of spells to prepare.
Cool.
Yep.
I'll have to do that on something that's not this app because it's not working, and it's fine.
And in the future, just there are some situations that call for it. So having the scroll lets you cast it without using a spell. That would be the good thing about keeping the scroll. Basically, you wouldn't waste a spell slot. Also,
Right, but it's a one-time use.
yeah,
right?
then it just goes away.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's either doesn't use a spell slot one time use, or you learn it and then you're basically ingesting it.
Also, if I can say, just imagining this ritual for an hour, and it's just taste. Can I have some hot sauce? Taste. All right,
Yeah,
some fish oil now,
yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
put some pepper on this.
A little
Parmesan
sunflower
cheese.
oil.
that or what?
Excellent. All right. I love how I tried real hard at first to be like, it's a new year, 2023. We're gonna do a little bit more rule. Never mind. I don't.
And it's gone.
Immediately abandons
You
it.
tried.
Rules are
I'm
for
already
life or
okay.
death.
this.
Is it
Yeah.
called fairy fire or is it called something else?
It's called fairy fire, but fairy is spelled Faerie.
I think that's how it's always spelled.
Fairy. Fairy. All right. So after you have a chance to take a look around this room and adjust yourselves in here, there's a couple things. First of all, as you near these sort of cavern entrances of broken down wall, you your ears sort of adjust, and you begin to hear this drone that emanates from these caverns. You hear it echoing through. Is a pervasive hum that just kind of comes from these. As you go down here and you're looking over the scroll and you're talking between Hideaki and Tal and Ark's reminding, hey, I can also read these and potentially write them later, and all of these conversations as you're situating yourself, seeing what was left behind prior, there is a moment where you recognize that the drone seems to be intensifying, and you focus and see it seems to be emanating from the south wall. Would somebody like to make a nature or survival check to kind of figure out what that is?
Ooh, I'm trained in
Art
both
will
of
make one,
those.
but he's not good at either.
Decent
That's
survival.
a dirty 20. I'll
Nice.
say nature. Why not?
Arc rolled a 9 and survived.
Alright.
Nice.
Ark, the sound is just kind of bugging you, and it's not really easy to place.
Bugs.
Oh, God.
What's all
Did
this
Arafe or
buzz
Tal
about?
roll?
No! Don't double down!
Oh, jeez.
I got a 17
Okay.
on survival.
And Tal?
Wait. Is it
Wait.
if
Wait.
it's 17, but if it is an identification of an animal, it's an 18
Oh, okay.
because I have my animal staff.
Hey.
I think it's a +1.
Mhm.
Check that out.
I got a 14 nature.
19.
Hideaki and Arafe, as this buzzing gets louder, you're able to place it and connect it with a buzzing that you heard at the fight in the auditorium. This is the buzzing of enormous bees.
Hello.
Bees.
And you hear it beginning to grow louder and louder. What are y'all doing?
That sounds
Coming
like
from the south, right?
pretty-
Art pulls his weapon in his book out.
Okay.
Should we try, considering it's getting louder, maybe
Probably
we try to go away from it? And go maybe over here to the west? Well, it's east from.
That does bring me to a good point of reminding you all of
Yes.
your just core tasks here, down here. 1, map it out.
Yep.
Figure out where everything is. 2, handle any threats you can manage. 3,
What a good caveat, as an aside.
yeah.
Manage.
3, a reminder, this is less spoken, but something that you all would know would almost certainly be expected of you is keep the school safe. Keep the people safe.
Yeah.
This seems to be a way up. The door is open behind you, up towards the Archon library. You are mindful of, if you do go in and disturb anything, that this is technically a potential exit to campus as well, for anything inside these caverns.
I closed the door.
All right. And I can do that.
Like,
Boom.
Boom, the door is closed.
As we're revisiting things we did yesterday that I forgot about, a reminder that Ark still has a little pouch that I tossed to them during the fight that gives you a +2 bonus on your saving throw, a circumstance bonus. I would have made another one and given it to Hideaki.
Can you have more than one at a time?
It doesn't say I can't.
What's the duration of the spell, if it's a spell? or
During
book?
your daily preparations, you can assemble a small pouch with bits of herbs, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't have... It's just root magic. It's a feat.
during the day,
Okay.
as long as we have it.
So long as you have it, and then it's used once you use it. I guess. Yeah.
So we can choose
So-
to add it.
The droning continues to go louder, and as you, Hideaki, close the door and Ark raises their book and staff, you see emerging from the middle Why can I not say tunnel? I was like, it's not a cave. What is it? A giant mining bee. In fact, two of them, as they are flying out of here. And I want as they kind of come out of here, I need everyone to make me first a flat perception check, and then as they come out of here. No, let's wait. Hold on. Yes, do this.
6.
Natural 20.
Amazing.
Natural
Or
1
28.
Amazing.
for 7.
23.
2 for 6. Good.
So here's the deal. You are all
Godspeed.
hearing this. You are preparing yourselves. You know what you have to do. You have to get rid of all of these threats, whatever is in here. It's not surprising that you see these mining bees here. You saw one of them kind of flying around that Habram sort of like jumped from the second balcony to try to tackle down.
What a mess. Love him.
20 what tile again?
3.
And then Hideaki?
28, not 20.
Okay. Both of you, maybe it's because you're in the back and allow yourself to be a little bit more on like, not the immediate offense. There's something you notice about these bees as they come out of here. They're flying. They are buzzing angrily. They're definitely aggressive. But they seem to... There's just something about them. They seem... You just see one, like, as they're flying, kind of, like, dip a little in their flying. It's like they're... exhausted, ? There is just something about them that you notice that they are off a little bit, and there's no denying though that they're like flying out of here. They're angry. They see you immediately and they're just coming over and they're attacking. So I want everybody to go ahead and click their tokens and roll initiative. But it's almost like they were like flying with purpose before they even saw you, and now that you're there, they're like and going after you.
These perfect students made them upset.
Roar.
14 for me.
Ooh, 21.
I never remember how to do
21.
this. Okay.
Is there some battle music for us, Waffles?
No, we're not in battle currently. Hold on.
All right.
Is it bad the bee came out and the first thing I heard was the Pokemon like diddle 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 diddle.
Beetle has appeared.
And then Tal, I can roll for you on here if you want to just give me what you actually rolled.
Yes. I got a 21.
1 second.
Yes.
Nope, that's
math.
not what I meant to write. $21?
Yeah.
Well, I rolled you a 22.
Oh, well, thanks.
Suck it.
No, I changed it. All right. So, as they come angrily buzzing out of here, Hideaki, top of the turn order. It's yours.
Shit. Okay. Boy, oh boy. I was not anticipating going first. Okie dokie dokie. So, considering what they're up to, we are, by we I mean Monsieur Overnerzo and myself, are going to act together. Overnerzo is going to move right here, and
Okay.
I'm going to reach across and maybe just chill and raise a hand. I'm going to cast Daze and use make a will save.
All right. I'll go ahead and will save, and just as a reminder to try to use arrow keys here as we move around.
All right.
That is an 11.
11, I believe, is a failure.
Mhm.
Yes. So you take 11 points of What damage is this? Well, it says mental damage. Oh,
Yes.
actually, I'm sorry, I did it incorrectly. Actually, it's 6 plus 3, so 9 points of mental damage.
Okay. So Jolt deals mental damage equal to your spellcasting ability modifier, so that's 9.
The damage increases by 1d6 heightened.
Oh, nice. It's a cantrip.
Cantrips?
So what was it again? Minus what?
Well, the damage
9?
wise? 9.
Yeah.
9.
A 9.
Nine.
Excellent. And then they are stunned?
Only if they critically fail.
Ah, boo. Okay. So, this is dazed, or got hit by the daze. You moved. You cast daze.
Did.
What else?
And then with my last action, Hideyaki will bite. No, Overnoza, however, will bite.
Hideyaki bites Tao.
Not awesome. 17 to hit.
17 to hit. Does not. You kind of, it just buzzes out of the way. Unfortunately.
What?
Cool. That's
All right.
3 actions.
They're exhausted.
Plus my.
Act together. Yes, 2. Yeah, perfect. Towel. Oh.
I'm clicking here. So,
Yes,
behind,
click
peek behind the curtain. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm trying to see Roll20 again because the beautiful picture of Natambu popped up and I can't get it to go away. 2 seconds, everyone. Okay.
Take your time.
So, give me 2 seconds. It is.
You're fine, and I can.
Absolutely.
You don't have to move yourself. Like I can help you out here. 'Cause I know
Right. The problem is I can't see any. There we go. Okay, we're here.
Hey, you did it.
Here.
Hey, we're alive. All right. Okay. So
So you can either close the distance. So there seems to be another bee behind this bee that has not like made its way out
Yeah.
of this space yet.
yeah. I will go. Ugh, I don't know if that pinged or not. Here.
Talk to me.
Yep.
So you
Yeah.
can-
Yeah.
Cross through, easily kind of going through the one kind of beam or like a rail thing that's part of the dance studio. You kind of jump
Okay,
around
okay.
that.
Yeah. And then I want to I think I am going to cast. Oh God, are you a touch? You are a touch. I take that back. I'm going to cast. Oh nope, I'm not. I'm so sorry. I can read the amount of actions that I can take. I'm going to stand right there where I'm at. I'm going to prepare and cast shield on myself.
Is that one action? 2.
That is 1 action.
Cool. So you cast shield.
Yes. So I moved, cast that, and then I'm going to then cast guidance on Arc, just because Arc is the closest in proximity that I can see. And I'm not casting it on Overnoza because I don't like him right now.
I think that's totally fair, and I don't like it.
Amazing.
That would be
so
my
you look over at
actions.
Arc. I'm imagining almost as you're kind of passing by, you look over at Arc, make eye contact. After you cast shield on yourself, you grant this guidance. And so that is 1, 2, 3 actions in which your dancing lights all disappear.
Yeah, there's also that. How is low light
Yeah.
vision? It's fine.
No, we can't see.
I have low light vision. I can see okay, I think.
Yes, because Arafe, is still emanating light from their mace, I believe. Correct? Or
I'm
their
just
staff.
a beacon of love and friendship.
We.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. Airfey, what are you doing?
All right. So she's going to start moving, but as she moves, 2, 4, 5 up there. She's also going to yell out. The map says that they can come out through that way as well if they're coming through this one. So they're essentially looking at the map. Want to point out that if they're coming out of this one also connects over here, so they could come out that way as well. But she's gonna move over there, and then she's going to cast Electric Arc on the 2 bees right there. So it's a basic reflex saving throw, DC 16. Yes.
All right, so buzzing angrily, they see all of this movement. They still were hurt by this daze, and all this does is anger them further. And you see, do they both have to make it no matter what?
Yes.
Okay. So, these bees are buzzing quickly and ducking, and moving, and 27 for the first one, 23 for the second one. They both duck out of the way. They take half damage though, correct? It's a basic.
So it's a 16, so the first one would take nothing at all with a 27, because it's a critical
Got it.
success. But the second one will take half, so they take 3 points of electric damage.
Worth it. All right. So
Math.
this one kind of it knocks against the wall, like the cave wall where it's from, and it can't quite get away from it because it has nowhere to go. It's a little stuck there. Okay.
That's my turn.
So you moved electric arc. That's it. Correct.
Yep.
All right. So now it's the mining bees' turn, and they come in here. They first of all they swoop in, and they're trying to get out. It looks like so they're gonna come in here. They're not gonna put themselves in flanking. That would not be smart. And I'm going to flavorfully here just move them all at the same time if that's okay, but I can't do one at a time if you all want.
No, I want to make it more difficult for you. No, of course.
So they come forward and are trying to just get like they're like going looking around the room. They see you. They're annoyed by you. They're gonna go over and make some attacks. So the first one, it kind of zooms in towards you. I think actually it was here. You were in front of it, Arc. So it kind of goes to the first thing it sees and tries to get you with a stinger. So that is okay. That is going to be a 13 to hit. I'm assuming it misses.
Yep.
And is frustratedly going to swoop kind of around and try to take a bite at you with their mandibles. With a 9 to hit. And they move, so that is it. And then the second one is going to fly up. It didn't want to be in that cavern, so it goes a little bit further past over Noza, probably to like what's directly in front of it, which is going to be Tal. Again, first with the stinger for a 17 to hit.
On me?
Yes.
No.
Oh, nice. Okay, frustrated, turns around and takes a bite at you. With an attack penalty, it's a 20 to hit.
Me?
Yep.
Well, with my shield, it's a 19.
Oh.
But did you raise your
So
shield?
that hits.
Did you use... Well, no, you wouldn't have in this case, I don't think, because it wouldn't have made a difference, right? So
Well-
the shield spell allows you to take the reaction of raising a
Reaction to
shield.
raise a shield.
So you have not yet used that.
I have not used it, so no. It still hits. Regardless of if I used it or not, it still
Well-
hits.
Sorry, I'll just jump in here. You can
Good.
use it to
Yeah.
mitigate damage. Because that's how the shield spell works in Pathfinder. It raises...
Okay, so even if it hits, you could have it absorb some of the damage if you do use that reaction to raise the shield.
I won't right now. It doesn't seem worth it right now.
Okay.
Does it not
What?
raise the shield for the rest of the turn?
Well, okay,
Until the start
so
of the next turn?
it says duration until the start of my next turn. You raise a magical shield of force. This counts as using the raise the shield action, giving you a +1 circumstance bonus to AC. So
Oh yeah, it is a one action spell. I forgot about that.
Okay, so it is...
So I would have.
Raised.
I do have the +1 circumstance bonus and the. Okay, and I can use the shield block reaction.
To take
To
damage
mitigate-
if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, are you mitigating
Excellent.
damage?
But it hits anyway.
It hits anyways. Are you
Um,
mitigating damage?
It has been a couple of weeks. Yikes.
We don't know how to play this game.
Yes, because it goes away at the start of my next turn anyway.
Perfect.
So it's hardness 5.
Hardness 5. So you would have taken 9 points of piercing damage, reduced by 5. And the shield shimmers away, I believe. And that was its move by... Okay, perfect. That's the rest of its turns. So, Ark, take it away. Hideaki, you're on deck.
Ready.
Okay. Ark is going to... Does Ark notice this? Ark is Ark, you know? Does Ark notice that these bees are just wanting to escape?
You did not succeed on that perception check originally, so I'm gonna say no.
Okay. Ark is going to stand where he is and cast Electric Arc on the one in front of him, bounce it to the other one.
Okay. Reflex saves.
Yeesh.
25 on the first one,
Pious.
and 24 on the second.
So,
Woof! They're pretty
Sure.
good reflex saves.
Ooh, I rolled good damage. I rolled max damage. So that is
Max damage.
5 damage each. Because they passed. And
Okay,
then Ark is gonna raise his book up.
Oh, all right. And read furiously now. Okay.
With the power of
Hideaki.
reading.
Tal, you're on deck.
All right. So, I can this little barrier thing. I can still see this guy over here, right? With this, even though
Yeah,
this
this
yellow
is like a
barrier looking thing?
bar.
It's like a dance.
Uh,
It's like a dance bar.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Making sure. So,
Balance. No.
it's 3's more fun than 2. So, I'm gonna cast Electric Arc as well.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
There are two
All three of
enemies.
my
I wonder what we
friends.
could do. And there's just electricity shooting back and forth across every
Exactly.
single one of you in a matter of 6 seconds. You all just kind of look at each other being like, yeah, no, great idea. Beep, 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 beep.
Right. It's
Tal's
like
hair
our,
is like sticking up
Guys,
with
static
static
guys,
Let's
electricity.
be honest.
I argue it's our calling card now.
Anyone who knows Pathfinder, Electric Arc's the optimal cantrip spell, honestly.
It really is. It's my
We love an
favorite.
optimal cantrip.
So the first one by Tal has a 16 for the
Failure.
save, and the second one a 15.
Double failures, baby.
Failing.
So
Why are you failing?
16 against me.
so and got so far, and then it didn't matter. So yeah, I said it. And that's 6 plus my spellcasting, so 9 points of whatever lightning damage, I guess. Electricity damage, sure.
Zappy damage.
Zappy damage. While we're acting together, chomp chomp, Overnose over there.
Excellent. Overnose takes a bite out of this.
Crime. Let's hopefully roll way better. Nope, not even close. It's cool. It's cool.
All right, so another
hit.
bite into the air as the mining bee gets frustrated as it keeps getting hit by these little zaps of lightning. Unhappy. Tal.
Oh, one last thing. I have
yes.
one thing left. Lastly, I extend my aura towards Overnose, and I'm going to use Protect Companion, which gives him a +1 circumstance bonus to AC until the start of my next turn.
Sick.
No,
And
wow.
also gives me access to another reaction. So,
Cool.
if it happens.
All right, Tal.
Great. I'm going to this poor sad bee. I'm gonna cast Gouging Claw as a cantrip.
This poor sad
Blink,
bee.
blink, 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 blink.
Gouging
This
claw.
poor sad bee.
Right.
I know. I
Um,
feel bad for the bee. I feel bad for it. Which, you know, claw hand get more claw. You know how
Claw
it be.
hand get claw. Okay.
Just
Claw
let it
hand
be.
get more claw. Let it
God
be.
damn it. See,
So
now
your
I don't like
claws
it
kind
anymore.
of sharp and elongate in your hand as you swipe. Is this a
Yeah, it turns into that like that kind of weird black
Your fur kind of fades into a black ombre. And
yeah,
then,
but then like it's kind of like you dip a hand in like tar or like paint or something, and then the claws just get like very disturbingly long. Like the hands, the fingers are too long. Fingers are too long. Anyway, make a melee spell attack against my target's AC. Oh,
do it. You won't.
Coward.
I might not actually.
It always reminds me of Kingdom Hearts and the shadows when you describe your shadow claws.
Right?
I love it.
13.
13.
Yeah. No. All right.
Try again.
Woof.
Well. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out if it sticks around. It doesn't stick around. It just goes into that. Okay, well, I'm gonna make a single regular claw strike with my regular claw after it fades.
Regular claw.
Okay, well, that's 19
Ah.
to hit the B.
Well, that hits.
Great. It's not a crit, is it? No, it's not. That would be ridiculous. Oh, good.
Oh, no.
One point of damage.
Point of damage. Now, does this claw thing only like happen once? Like,
yeah.
Does it go away?
It temporarily morphs. Yeah.
Got
it doesn't say it persists after the attack, so.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
it was super cool.
So it like you miss with it, and it's frustrating because it fades this weird like dripped shadow or darkness, I should say. I don't want to take air.
Yeah, it's for sure not a shadow.
Yeah,
it's for sure not.
I don't.
It's like almost like
darkness.
ink.
Yeah, that's the team attack.
It's not a phase.
Talia just sticks their hand into Yafira and pulls out claws.
And pulls it out like just dripping shadow. Sick.
Team attack.
Imagine though. I'm so excited for this.
I will always want team attacks. By the way, like please.
Team attacks.
I love it. Combos, however.
Chrono Trigger, let's go.
But okay, so it misses, and then you try to swipe it again. This time, the magic fading from your claws, you get a 1 point of damage there. Is there anything else you're doing?
That's 3 actions, baby.
All right.
Place one card face down and end my turn.
Airfay.
I wish I could do even that.
Okay. Quick technical question: If a cantrip says it's heightened +2. Does that mean it's heightened now?
No.
Not yet.
No. Level 5. That's what we learned earlier.
Yep.
I was like, so cantrip levels are half your level rounded up. You are level. Wait,
Gotcha. Because
it
we're
is
level
rounded up.
3.
It is.
Oh.
Huh?
Sweet. Then I'll do that one.
But it's half.
It doesn't matter. Half your level, rounded up. So 1.5 rounded up is 2.
Which is 2.
So the
Yeah.
cantrip.
So
level
we
is
get
cantrip
heightened
level
+1
2.
right now.
It needs
Correct.
to be
2 is only 1 more than the cantrip.
Yeah, right now it is a +1. So when
Okay, so if
Don't
it says
worry.
heightened,
Heightened
No,
plus
we'll deal with it
ones.
later.
if
When
it
you're
says
level
heightened
5, it'll be
2, it's not
+2.
heightened yet.
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. All right, just wanted to make sure. Then I'll do the other one. I'm gonna do electric arc again then.
Let's go.
I love how we're like, let's try new things, and we're back to electric.
Look, my DC for my oracle stuff is much better than my DC for my
Totes my goats.
for my druid stuff, but whatever.
It's cool.
So
It's cool.
again,
And one of those is innate, and one of those you learned in school.
Yeah,
Just
baby.
walking bug zappers.
Oh my god.
That's this
no.
campaign. Yep.
You walk in, you make this little net of just a bug zapper.
just imagine that
Hideaki
Hideaki and I are just throwing the lightning back and forth.
Oh my god, yes, yes, that's
what's
exactly what's happening.
This little
Fucking
ball of lightning
tennis.
just keeps getting thrown around the room. It's like a freaking
Incredible.
team building exercise.
Damn.
And the first one
Damn.
gets a 27, the second one gets a
Oh.
19 on their reflex save.
Okay, well I guess the first one's fine, and the second one takes a whopping 4.
Okay, we got this.
Hey, it's more than one.
It's
Um,
math.
And then just because Tal got hit, I'm going to Spirit Link. Or not? Yeah,
I
like
got,
not
like,
Spirit
I
Link,
got,
Light
like,
Link.
the fluff got on. I got a little pollen in my nose.
Yo.
I mean, we're okay.
So you at first gain 3 hit points back,
Well, that's
Yeah.
almost all of it back. So
Yep. and then
It's
each
like that.
First time you take damage each turn, I take the first 3.
So at this point, is that the end of your turn, Airfay?
That's the end of my
You
turn.
still have one act. Oh no, that's like.
Yeah, it's
Um,
electric Earth 2.
So the mining bee in front of you, Ark, is flustered because it came out of here and it started getting hurt left and right by these sizzling electric arcs, and it looks around and it's frustrated and it's just going to try to fly. And even though this door is closed up here, it's going to try to go over there and try to bump into it, desperate to try to get out. This other mining bee sees this, is getting kind of frustrated, is going to try to like it looks around, it sees another entrance. It's gonna try to fly this way, and it's gonna, before it kind of gets any further, it's gonna take a bite at you, Ark. Actually, it's gonna try to with its stinger, get at you, with an 18 to hit.
Nah.
Nah.
Slaps it away with his open hand.
That ain't me.
And it's just frustrated to a point where it's gonna just kind of keep going with its stinger instead of swinging around to bite you.
Sure.
That's an 11.
Yeah.
That's not gonna go. And that's really all it can do. And it's like, I will say probably Arc, because one flew away from you and the other's coming at you now, which is like odd-ish behavior. You can make like a nature check, or survival.
Okay.
I believe in you.
22 nature.
Hey.
The one you just watched, the one that's trying to bump against the door desperately. These just want to get out of here. They're angry, they're annoyed, they're taking their aggression out on you all, but they clearly want to get out of here. Ark, it's your turn. I think I will say, actually, the one that's kind of by the door that was frustrated that it couldn't get out, we'll make one. Like, he'll use one action, try to get out the door, not being able to, will try to get a stinger at you, Hideaki.
Oh no, but Nims were great there. It's totally fine. Don't mind me.
I was
I'm over
literally
here.
about to say, Nim is
Nim
like
is
tucked
with you.
so
No,
hard.
of course.
I just saw the little
Actually,
speck of Nim on there, and I'm like, oh wait, hang on.
I was
Wait,
like, I'm totally calling that out. If she
Hang
attacks
on.
me, I'm totally gonna say it.
No.
What?
Nim is
I'm
hiding
not
my
the
waist
friend.
belt.
Have you seen what Nim's done to me? I'm not the friend.
Listen. Nim didn't do
26.
anything.
20. Jesus Christ, that definitely hits.
Is that it's not a crit, is it? What's your AC?
Oh my God, it is. Yeah, 16
Your AC is only 16?
right now. Yeah.
Is it
Are
just
sure,
Squishy Boy?
You sure you're level 3?
Yep.
Okay.
My dude! My AC is not even that low.
Meanwhile, my Eidolon's AC right now 21.
Huh.
Okay.
Are you-
So that's a crit. You want to double
So you
check
get
this? Please feel
disease?
free.
Are you trained in unarmed and everything? Or unarmored? Sorry. Because you
Probably.
should at least have 3. It should be 3
Let's go
for
up
trained.
to...
Plus your dex. Actually, it should be 5 for trained. Plus your dex. Plus any armor bonus. So even if you don't have an armor bonus, you should have.
My dex is a +1.
Okay, so that's 16. Yeah. I guess
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
Unless there's something weird. Huh.
I'm smart.
Squishy
I'm not fast.
Hideaki.
So squishy.
So critical damage.
You die
Mhm.
instantly.
Oh, is
And
incorrect
so do you.
here. I see. Well, I have to do this differently. I have to roll my own damage because. Oh wait, this is something else. No, it is fridge. I just looked this up. Hold on.
Fridge?
You said
There's so much happening.
Are we censoring ourselves now?
Oh my heck!
Oh, I thought she said
Duval, I've
this.
got some bad news.
I thought she said this is French. And I was like, why?
This is Cape
Okay. So you
Oh god.
um
You take 529 damage.
the thing is
Nice.
this
Wouldn't be the first
stinger.
time.
This stinger, normally a lovely
Thing
1d6
Yeah.
damage, has something called a deadly d8.
Well, that sucks.
Oh, yeah,
Well, I
I've
know
heard
what
this
that
before.
is. Well,
I know
that
what that
So
is.
sucks.
deadly
does.
is on a critical hit and only on a critical hit. The weapon adds a weapon damage die to the listed size. So I'm gonna roll the normal damage, which was in this case
A D6.
16, damage for the crit.
Oh god.
And now I'm going to roll
Shit.
an additional d8 to add
New
on
character.
top of this for an additional 5 points of damage on top of that.
You rolled the
Oh.
original.
Okay, so 21 total.
You rolled the original crit damage with d8s too, right?
No,
Pretty sure.
that is not deadly. That is
Fatal.
the other one, fatal.
Sorry, my bad.
That's why I was like, wait, no, this isn't fatal, because I was just looking at fatal. Okay, so you take that damage. Sorry. Now, Ark, it is your turn. Also, Hideaki, you do have a hero point. It was transferred to you from Airfay.
Yes.
I got it. I do have things.
All right. Ark seeing this is going to. He knows there's other things in this cavern, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do know this is a long haul.
Yep.
But he doesn't want to alert them.
I cast Bullhorn.
That was a bullhorn.
Yeah.
We're coming.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. Please do that.
Listen, I
Here
did
comes
prepare
Mama B.
Bullhorn today also as well, in case we get stuck.
It's on my list too, boo boo.
Oh my
Hey.
gosh.
Am I the only one who doesn't have bullhorn?
How far are we away from like people?
You're a couple, you're a floor down, a closed door, a staircase, and a couple rooms around. I don't know, like distance?
Yeah. I mean, distance / like they're not in a separate building a mile away, right?
No, there's probably some folks around in this building.
Okay. This is gonna be convoluted,
I
but
love convoluted.
I'm gonna try to do this to get. Man, does this even work? Hold on.
Yeah, this just got really complicated really quick. I love it. Let's go.
It should work. It's one
Because you
action.
started dying, Hideaki.
Talk to me. What are
God,
you
gotta
intending?
complicate everything.
I
Have you
want
met the guy?
to get on the other
pull
side
so
of this.
much
I don't have
focus.
the actions for this, okay? But I want to get on the other side of this door and ready Bullhorn for when Hideaki, and then I want Hideaki to close it so I can yell at the people upstairs, and then open it again so the bees have it open on their turn.
I follow.
Yeah. I mean, you can move. You can't go through an enemy space. And he's in front of the door.
I can tumble through their space. I don't know if I can in Pathfinder.
Not with
2e.
the door closed. You'd have to open the door first,
No,
which is an interact action.
annoying.
Goddamn bees.
All right. Ark's just going to run up to the door
Electric arc.
and electric arc the bee. No, he's gonna run up to the door and open it.
So the bee is in front of the door.
I don't care. It's a bee. I'll open the door and smack it with it. It's flying, right? Like it's not like it has huge weight.
There's a big squish mark behind the door.
Okay. Go ahead and try to. I mean, it's pushing. Okay. What are you trying
Does
to
the
do
door open
after you open
in
the
for us?
Yes.
Are you sure?
You want me to roll? I will flip a coin. Hold
No.
on.
In my head, if it helps, in my head, I pulled it closed. Like, if that helps. Like, in my head, that's
Okay.
what I did.
Well,
It was
All right, what do you
spoken,
want?
so
What do I
therefore it is
want?
canon.
I'm just,
What do you
I
want?
want
I'm just
him.
saying.
we will spend 5 minutes
want
on this.
heads.
Do you want the door to close, open outwards, or
I want it to
inwards?
open outwards so
confused
I
of
can
why this
just
is
open
happening.
it right now.
Okay. All right. So outwards will be the 20 side of this coin given by Star Shinobi, and in will be the other way.
Amazing.
Okay.
This is so
And
TTRPG.
This
Oh
is
my
what-
god.
This is the hill we die on. These are the bees we die to.
This is the beast.
That is a 1. It opens out the wrong way,
Okay.
the way you do not want it to open.
Oh shit.
All right. Well then.
It opened.
All right.
That bumping bee is never opening this
At
door.
least,
though.
you know what? This is a milestone for us. We have encountered a door
That's true.
as a group.
We did it.
I am
we
so
did it.
proud.
You know what? You know,
We did
the
it.
dungeon just started.
All right.
I can't get past this door.
If I trip this
No.
bee,
They tripped.
Can I open the door while it's on the ground?
Can you trip things that are flying?
Yeah, they just lose their fly.
Sheesh.
Okay. Go ahead. Come
I'm
on.
asking
Trip this
you
door.
now, if I trip it in front of the door, can I open the door then? Or no? I'll just
Yes.
I'll just push it. I'm just gonna push it.
Push the bee.
This is ridiculous.
Push the bee.
I'm gonna use the shove action on this bee
Okay.
so I can open the
Trying
door.
to shove it out?
Push the bee.
No, I'm trying to shove it out of in front of the
To
door because
the
it
side.
clearly doesn't want me to open this door.
No, it's just really busy standing in
Being a
front of
bee.
the door.
Busy. It's a busy. Fuck
Busy
me.
It's a busy
okay?
bee.
I was like, no, I'm not
The
finishing
best
it.
part
I'm
about
not
it
doing
is
it.
that was
No.
Duval, y'all. That was Duval.
I was
He
like,
gets the credit.
no.
I had faith in one person in this party to not do that. Now it's gone.
I know. I am broken now, apparently.
And what is this usually against? A shove action?
Like their
fort save or their reflex?
fortitude DC, which is fort plus 10. It's not gonna. It doesn't work.
I'm so sorry. No.
Why do you want us to kill these bees?
I do not.
Art
I.
for
Alright,
his
it
final
said here
action puts his hand on the doorknob or whatever controls this door and starts attempting to open it and keeps slamming it into the bee, hoping it'll move eventually.
Roll an attack action. Just roll
Is
an
that a
attack.
gust of- is that a gust of wind cantrip? Like, it's just like the.
Like,
16.
Okay.
The
You're
mental
trying. You're
image
trying.
of
You're
this.
not enough to like get the damage onto the bee.
I don't want to
just.
get to
Oh my.
I know. I just really wanted you to hit the bee with the door.
Ark's pretty trained to not hit a bee with a door here.
It's a big bee.
I
That-
mean, it's a
that's-
big bee though.
that's what
it's a
Arc
big
just-
bee.
It's a big bee.
Big bee.
I'm so
it's a
conflicted
capital
on
V.
what to do now.
And interestingly, its name is Big B. Hideaki, it is your
I
turn.
despise everything now.
I quit. I'm not doing my turn now.
This thing is a capital B.
No,
Hideaki,
for bad.
Please
For
do me
bad.
the favor
So-
of messing up Ark's plans right now. This is gonna be great.
I think because like the don't let the bees. Don't let the things out. Don't let the threats out.
Well, specifically, it was handle threats you can't manage and keep the school safe.
So,
Doesn't mean
having
we
said
can't
that,
let bees out.
that's true. And I think he'll look at Ark too and just be like, "Seems like you have a plan. This one's mine." And he takes his mask off of his belt, pulls it on, flips around, and he's gonna breath weapon the fuck out of that bee.
Oh, the bee by the door?
No, the one I just narrated spinning around, Sarah.
I
Really
didn't know
cool.
which way you were facing.
It was
I'm
really.
so
I was
sorry.
facing the door. He was attacking. You just tried to kill me, ma'am. I would like to point out you just took half of my life. Then R2 was like, "Let's open the door."
I
And
thought
was
you
just
want
like,
to get the
"Seems
revenge on the one that took half your life, but no, I
No,
understand.
because R2 has a plan, and I can't breath weapon R2 right now.
Please,
So
breath
I
weapon.
might consider
Your
it
hatred for
later.
bees come from? Why do you want us to kill the bees? Let's unpack
can't.
this.
Anyway,
Save the
Why-
bees.
Save the bees, save the world.
Go ahead. What do I have to
anywho.
do with a breath
We're
weapon?
not leading by
Make
example. Don't blowtorch your bees, friends.
No.
Yeah, please don't blow touch.
Bees
Make
are
a
friends.
please make a reflex save before I lose all my my time.
I have a question. How many times can you do that a day?
I don't know.
All right. I'm just saying,
The
they're
GM
just bees.
Now think later.
I think we should skip this
Doesn't bother me.
combat. A, B, up, down, left, right.
Up down. BA selects. I
That's
love
my
you.
favorite
Oh my
iambic
god, what do I have to
pentameter.
do? Roll the breath weapon.
That's 8 points of fire damage.
What? Just do I have to roll?
I told you to make a reflex save.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
A lot's happening.
Busy.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
a terrible
Laughing
time.
at cheat codes. That's a 28.
Yeah, that's certainly a success.
Is it a basic reflex save?
Uh huh.
All right, so that's half damage. How much did you
Yeah.
say?
8.
9.
I have to ask, is that a normal success?
3 plus 5. 8.
That's a critical success for me.
I don't know what my DC is on this actually. It's my main.
It would be your DC.
It's 18. So actually, yeah.
So it's a crit success, so it takes no damage.
Cool. That's even funnier.
Nice.
That's even funnier. It's great.
Nice.
That's fucking
He's
Excellent.
not used to
This
the breath,
is
and it just propulses him back.
the
He falls
perfect
backwards.
character for this.
Um,
Yeah, I do
you're
the old Maria. I'm getting used to it. It's new to me, you know.
Yeah, so it is frequency once per day. You breathe out a cone of line
job.
of energy.
Great.
2d6 damage.
To be clear, no regrets whatsoever. I was.
I wish you would regret. I wish you would regret at least
Nope.
once.
No, never. I have a dragon that can do it. I will not regret.
At least once.
I like to remind you, we're in a tree.
I would like to remind you, we are in
We're
a
not.
tree.
There's gonna be bigger bugs than bees.
It's fine. I have other things.
Oh,
It's
no, that
room
was
1.
It's fine. I have other things. Don't
that was
worry.
2 actions.
Oh yeah, it's my turn, guys. Good
You have
God,
plenty
me.
more.
As
What
I
else is happening?
Completely explode the encounter.
Chaos. What is happening?
So
I did not expect this to be this way, but you know.
this is
bees.
100%. So with act together, in that case, Overnose is going to move over here. Last action, bite that guy.
Right, bee.
Okay.
Next, goodbye. I'm done. Bye.
At least
Overnose.
Hideaki is
Having a good
following
time.
Ark's plan. They got a nice hive mind going on here.
Yep, I did. Yep, totally.
gotta
All that was on
go.
purpose.
Can I forego my turn into the next century? Is that allowed?
Yes, absolutely. Tell me.
That turn was embarrassing. Embarrassing.
What's up?
Your intent is to warn the folks above that bees will be coming through and let them out.
Yeah, and to let the bees out. Like
Okay.
these bees aren't dangerous. They didn't want to attack us. They're just mad. Get out of their way. Open a path and go hide for a second. Chill.
Escort them out.
I'm covered in blood.
Cal.
I was just here.
Is
Yes.
there any opposition to this?
No, and in fact, because I noticed that they looked like I'm.
You did.
You know, I'm upset that Hideaki is not feeling great, but also that the bee tried to get out and couldn't get out. I know enough about animals to know that this is just animalistic instincts, which sucks.
So no
But, like,
opposition.
No.
Arafe, is there any opposition to this?
As I notice everyone else hesitating, Arafe will also hold back.
So you are able to do this. As soon as you open the door, they begin to try to fly out. You're able to call ahead or even go out with them and make sure, like, follow them, make sure nobody's in the way, and make sure they get out of the Archhorn library. So you guys take a second to do this.
Yeah.
Does anybody stay behind to make sure nothing else is, like, coming out?
I object. No, I'm totally kidding.
I'll stay behind.
I'll stay
Okay.
with Tal because I don't want to
Okay.
leave one.
Ark and
person down
Hideaki
here.
make sure, through multitudes of creative, I am sure, ways that the bees find their way out of the Archhorn library. There's a couple of mishaps, but you do manage to get them out, and you kind of make sure everybody else stays out of the way. As soon as they're outside, you see them just kind of like try to fly away, whichever direction, and you hope that there's no harm done to anybody in Atambu or otherwise as they get out of here. And you do think it's not like a for sure thing, it's just a trusting in animalistic instincts, and like they will get out of here.
Yeah.
They want out for sure.
I mean, just for my sake, this is for Waffle's sake. These are normal creatures, correct? Like mining bees.
They're creatures
like,
that
these
exist in
These
the
aren't
world.
mutated radioactive mining bees or something. These are
Radioactive.
Do you want to make a check?
not- I made a 22 nature check.
Okay. Hold on. I will tell you.
I'm not worried about. I'm honestly not worried about their personality as much as I'm worried about like their looks and like
Yeah,
do they
they're
have
native to this
15
place.
wings and 6 mouths? Like
Right. So they are
Do they
not.
look like
they're not normal.
not?
They're not mutated. No,
Oh.
they are normal. They
Okay.
are a creature.
Yeah, then Ark trust that they'll not attack people, and if they do attack people in a magic school, that they'll die.
Yeah, so they have the animal tag, meaning they don't have a monster or beast tag or anything like
Okay.
that. They are an animal.
Sure.
You do know that they are generally rather aggressive, but you also saw them, and you also saw this was a kind of an interesting case. They really did want to just get out of there.
Yeah.
And with that, you return.
Success.
I'm sorry, I just that.
We did it!
First mission complete.
And
As
only one
the-
of us used our 1-a-day item.
It's totally cool. As that bug that hit me earlier, it's just like, yeah, you don't even have to fix this, huh? Yeah, feels good to be you. Yep, totally. And then he'll spin to Overnosa. Man, that you make this look way easier.
Art comes back and gives a nice little like old school woohoo like arm in front of his chest and goes, "That was the bee's knees." All right.
Can we end the
I
episode
hate it here.
Goodbye.
End it
Officially.
now?
Can we just go home now?
Can we just end it now?
Fuck.
Hard
me.
cuts. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
And we end. No, imagine.
Now.
Okay, so bringing things back in a little bit.
Save us.
Save us, please. Although taken aback, aside from the fact that they were aggressive bees, they were trying to get out, which was odd. They were clearly a little bit out of it. Nonetheless, however, there is still overall the sound of droning that still emanates further away now, but it seems to just be like echoing around and throughout these caverns from some unseeable source. You have now before you 4 pathways by which to explore. How do you begin?
Do you think they were running from something?
Very
I mean,
possible.
We should take care of our wounds before we move forward.
What wounds?
Totally.
I just like
Didn't
very
somebody get
like
No, I know.
yeah, Hideaki for like half his health.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good, Pram. I'm good.
There's like a big stinger like wound in your shoulder. It's great.
Well, if
That's
it's like
cool.
a regular bee, then the stinger falls out
It's
and gets stuck, and the bee dies.
It's all good. And I'm gonna use potion, minor healing potion.
Ark will put a hand on it first. Like stop you. Does anyone have any, slower medical knowledge?
You can, outside of combat, treat wounds. Takes 10 minutes,
Oh, then I can.
and that does not use. Good to save those things for battle, is what Ark's saying.
I can do that because I have battle medicine.
Battle medicine means you can do that in combat, even. It won't
Okay.
take 10 minutes. It's an action.
Anyone trained in medicine can do it out of combat with a medical kit.
Okay, and I do have those. So
I'm trained. I don't have a medical kit though, but if I can borrow Aerofix.
I was gonna say, I have medical tools.
Yeah, that's what.
Yep, you're good.
Healer's tools
so-
or whatever they're called.
Yeah,
Healer's
yeah.
tools is what they're called.
Yeah, healer's tools. That's the words. I'm trying to find all the things before I ask you
Patch
guys
the
questions
boy
on the
up.
side, just so I can't find anything.
Are you trained in medicine or an expert in medicine? Out of curiosity.
I believe I am expert in medicine. Yes.
Oh shit.
Okay, you have an option. You can. The usual normal DC is 15 for this. Because you're an expert, you could choose to make your own DC 20 and do more healing.
How many hit points are you down, Hideaki?
23 out of 44.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and pop that up.
Okay. So instead of 2d8, you would do 2d8 plus 10, which is great. So go ahead and roll a medicine check.
No enemies.
So I need a 12 or higher. I'm gonna use a hero point.
Ooh,
Nice.
Ooh.
There it is. Okay.
great. What'd you roll?
So 22.
22.
It's a crit success if you need a 12 or higher. No.
No.
No, I think it was on the dice. 12 on the
They
dice.
did not roll a 22 on the dice.
Godspeed.
Are you
that's rare
sure,
23. Excited dice.
And then it was 2d10?
2d8,
2d8
and then
plus
you
10.
add 10, no matter what.
2d8 plus 10. Of course, I don't have my 8s out. Why would I have my 8s out?
Why
There we
would
go.
you have your 8s out?
That is an 8 and a 6. So 14, 24.
24.
And
24
we're
points.
back in the game, baby.
Full health.
You take out the medicine kit or the healer's tools and patch Hideaki up. You can do this technically quickly in battle with battle medicine, so it doesn't take you all that long. Healed up. The only thing, let's see.
Now he's immune for an hour.
Yes. Is that only if they... No, okay. Yep. You have an hour before you can get healed again this way.
To keep you from spamming it and just full healing every single time.
That makes sense.
This is why, though, I never worry about you all not healing up to full at rest. As a reminder, Pathfinder mechanics don't automatically heal you up. You regain a certain amount of hit points at night, not automatically healed up, but like y'all would treat wounds until you feel better.
Yeah, the going to sleep routine is like wrapping our wounds, putting ointment on, and that gives us our hit points back.
Yeah. The only time I will ever
always
do
have
this
wraps
is
on,
like...
let's be honest.
Yeah, it's okay.
As always. And now I have a new appreciation for this. Though I'm clearly not good at it. But thanks, Eric.
Problem at all. So this is kind of a rough start to our day. But looking, that's true.
Feels about right, if I'm being honest.
So when I was looking at the maps earlier, these two on the side, and she'll point to the two on the end, they connect at like a water source a little bit farther on, and then the one the bees came out of and the one to our side here connect a bigger cavern. But it looks like there might be more beyond the big.
Should we just go where the bees came from?
Or do you believe they were running from something? I heard someone ask that.
I did.
I think they might. Well, here's the two things that are in my head are when an animal is startled, it usually runs away. Or I mean, the worst case scenario, something or someone told them to go. But that sounds a bit unlikely. Maybe.
And since you rolled successfully originally, they seemed worse for wear.
Yeah.
They seem like exhausted.
Yeah.
Now, were they hurt or did they seem exhausted? Or could you even tell?
Well, because like if I recall the bugs in the other fight, they were like ragged. They were like not good either.
Which fight?
The
big one, right?
The auditorium.
The big bug fight, yeah.
The mask. Okay. Yeah, it's complex. Like, yes, yes and no. So like, they seem ragged, exhausted. They seem not. Yeah, I mean, for right now, like, there's something off.
Like, perhaps they're a bit overextended. They're not used to traveling this much, maybe? They're traveling this much because they're forced to, or they're commanded to?
Something.
Maybe
yes.
they're the ones digging the holes, and they're just not allowed to rest.
I think if we're looking for the source of it, it's probably good to retrace their steps.
It will likely
can
be
always
more
come back.
dangerous that way if they were running from something.
I think we'll have to be
Right,
extremely
but-
careful.
And they were going to run into it regardless.
Yeah,
Sorry, Cal.
it would be the best way to get some kind of information. We can always come back here.
Mhm.
It is
Would you
bigger.
Would you like me to go ahead quietly first?
Are we in dim light?
You were
Oh,
still shining.
We cannot be. I can cast dancing lights again.
No,
Cantrip.
No, I deleted them.
Suck
I
it.
think I'm the only one
Oh.
that has light up right now, but I
Correct.
also have the ability to hide in dim light. My mask.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the entire map, by the way.
How?
I
As
won't
he,
look, I
like,
promise.
swoops
I don't know, but I
off.
can see the entire thing.
That's a great question.
I'm magic. It's because everything I'm doing is broken today, y'all. Don't worry about it. I'm not even looking. My screen is so small right now.
So, I mean, I know Ark is definitely, sneakier than me, but I can meld into shadows a little bit.
I am quite good at it, but if you think that you have some special power to do it, then he thinks for a moment, and then he shakes his head. If you were caught, it would be much worse.
You, looking into these from just the entrance, can see that these caverns are narrow, and the way this is likely going to have to go is a one at a time type thing for any narrow cavern. So there would be a marching order of a kind. So if you both want to go, there could be somebody that's ahead and someone behind or something like that.
You can see in the dark, right, Ark?
Not in pitch black, no. But easy enough. I do believe that I can follow cavern walls until there's likely a light somewhere, if animals are moving around.
Okay.
Just guessing.
Could I turn the lights off? We're gonna try and go through here and we're worried about running into something.
Well, we can start with that, and if we not feeling great, we can switch it up.
All right. Do you
Perhaps
turn your...
Yeah, I'll say it. Perhaps Ark can go first, and I'll be right behind, just in case.
All right.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay.
You turn your light.
Yeah, I'll wait for Ark to get to the door first, so that he can find the door, and then I'll turn off the lights.
And so the other two of you, before we start moving, are staying in.
I would stand near the entryway, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So with that, real quick, Tal, do you have dim light vision?
Yes.
Okay. And then Ark,
I also have low light vision.
low light.
Yeah, dim light, low light. That doesn't help you
think-
see in complete darkness here.
Correct. I'm just curious where the light sources are coming from currently.
Well, if we look at my screen, they're coming from everywhere.
They're looking great on
The whole map looks light to me, actually.
Yeah, that's why I was curious. I don't know why, but that's okay. Who knows?
I'll roleplay.
The suspension of disbelief and whatnot.
Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So you start making your way quietly down. So you're stealthing, correct?
Yep, I'm gonna stealth. Hand on, if it's narrow enough, hand on both sides of the wall, so I make sure I can feel when it's turning. I also have cave lore, if that helps, because I grew up in
Nice.
shit like this.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do with this is just being familiar with caves, and how sound like echoes and everything like that. Go ahead and roll a stealth check for me, but add a +2 circumstance bonus to this from your lore, having it, and then Arafe, you're following behind. So, go ahead and also roll a stealth
and
check using.
and I'm gonna throw my mask on.
So you
I'm gonna be
throw your
saying
mask on,
Oh.
and you activate.
Yep.
And Yafira, kind of in this space, feeling quite comfortable in this dim space, kind of comes out up around the walls of the cavern, spreading in this sort of odd state, and wraps around you. As the shadows of the space cling to you a little bit more. And though you do feel her sort of arms wrapped around, and it's comforting. Feel free to proceed until I tell you to stop.
And prior to these lights being turned off, I think Ark has done stuff like this before with Iska and would have gave RFA like if I bump you with my left elbow, it means back up. If I bump you with my right elbow, it means I'm going forward more, but there is something, etc., etc. Like,
Okay.
Okay.
if I tap your foot with my foot, it means blah, 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 etc.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to continue. I rolled a 17 short.
Okay. Additionally, by the way, there is still this general droning that is occurring. So, as a reminder, while it is droning, you also have an addition. Oh, so you already had a +2, so this will be separate. Your bonus will still be on top of that. You actually always have a +2 circumstance bonus to stealth because the buzzing consistently helps hide some of the noises.
Then mine's actually a 21 then.
And mine's
Gotta add
at
my bonus.
25.
So you begin to go down this space, and as you do, you begin to see a light source in front of you. It's a blue, glowing light that's faintly illuminating the space.
And Arkle, like, probably sees it, like, beginning to light him up, and will just make, like, a hand motion of, like, you see this too? Like, GM, I cannot use my keys to make this corner. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I want to poke out here in such a. I know I stepped a little far, but I want to poke out here in such a way that like just my head is seeing where this light source is coming from to make sure I don't see any creatures or anything.
Yeah, so already begins to see that it opens up into this large, like, irregular cavern. There seems to be moisture dripping down the walls, and a narrow tunnel leading a little bit, like, back up to the north. And as you poke your head around, you see a large, blue, glowing mushroom that seems to be faintly illuminating the space.
Figured.
Okay. Arkle take a step back, like motion RFA to take a step back so he gets back in darkness kind of thing, and will give a quiet whisper and relay everything, like blue glowing mushroom that looks like the next path goes up north, etc., etc.
We go get the others?
And you do so, just to speed things along just a little bit, and come following down. I'll put, ignoring him. And are you guys proceeding forward?
Yes.
All right. So entering this space, you all. I'm just gonna move you all so you can filter in a little bit.
I figured it out. The light source is coming from RFA as a heads up.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was like, why can't I see past this mushroom? And then RFA entered the room and I could see past the mushroom.
Logic.
I can't see anybody.
Excellent. And that is truly the space that this takes up.
Yep.
So you can take a step closer here. And I just need this because there's too many people. Okay. So you see this large mushroom. Does somebody want to, like, do a nature check on the mushroom?
I do.
Ark will not, but while everyone else is, Ark begins pulling out 50 feet of rope. And he just wants everyone to have one hand on it. He instructs, like, we're not tying it to each other. That's bad for combat, but if something happens, drop the rope, but hold on to the rope as long as you can, basically.
Accidental, sure. Pitfalls, things like that, sure. 19.
19. Okay.
16.
Anyone else? 16. Okay. So looking at this mushroom, you're kind of, there's some classes you've taken in this area. It doesn't seem like bad or harmful necessarily. you do notice, as you kind of look at it, that there's like some small parts of it near the base that have like little gnawed bites taken out of it. But it seems to be largely left alone. Yeah, that's all you see around here.
Cool.
Somebody bite it.
Damn.
Over Noza.
That was Waffles, not Ark.
Yeah.
And you see, Arafe, as you're down here, that this pathway that kind of to the northeast of here seems to be, from the crudely drawn like sketches, the area that seems to connect around to the other area, and does lead you towards that question mark.
So if we go up that direction, there's a question mark that was on the map from before. Do we want to check that out?
I think so. We should make sure nothing stays behind us.
That's a
Any other?
really good idea.
Obviously, they were flying, but any residue or any tracks? Just to see if maybe we could sort of cross-reference.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a. You can see here, right?
A little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
you cannot.
Just
there's-
around the mushroom, and then RFA can see everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say you can make a survival check, but you'll have a -2 circumstance bonus.
Cool. It's not great. 13.
13. It is a little hard to see around here. It is mostly stone. There's moisture in this cavern in particular, which seems to be perhaps why this mushroom has found purchase here, but doesn't seem, you're not seeing anything in particular.
Cool. Let's go find us an answer to a question.
Yeah.
Right.
Art continues with his hand on the wall.
Okay, so what is the marching order for me as you go back north? Is Ark leading the way?
Yes.
I think so.
Unless someone else wants to, but
I'm cool.
Then
And then I'll be a close second.
okay. Hideaki or Tal or Overnoza? Next.
I'll go next.
All right.
Okay. And then Hideaki
Yeah,
and
and then
Overnoza?
Overnoza. Yep.
Great. So now those that that cannot see, you are going to be moving very slowly, and it is definitely like difficult to see. And Ark, you can't see anything. So you get to this point and you're not quite sure. You feel it open up a little bit, but Arafe, you're seeing things clear. Everything's great here. You can see no issue. And as you go into this area, you see this is probably where this map is circled around here. You're not quite sure why, or like what exactly is here that is marked. But if you would like, go ahead and make a perception check to try to figure out why this area is marked.
Righty. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, great. All right, so you walk in here, and Ark is like very carefully, like his hand is on the top wall here, and he's beginning to like filter through, not even realizing, again, pitch black for Ark, not even realizing what else is here. But you're looking around, and there is something to the south of this cavern wall. It's a very, very narrow space, but there seems to be like there's a sheet of stone there. And then the thing that catches your eye as you continue to start walking by is this like hidden peg of some kind. You wonder if this looks like almost like a hinge, like a rotation, like maybe there's a secret door here.
I will relay that information to the others. I feel like I don't know if you all can see all of this, but it looks like there might be something.
Literally nobody aside from
No one else can see.
can see anything in this pitch darkness.
Overnoza has dark vision.
Okay. So I think then what I would... Oh, no, go ahead.
Ark will just close his eyes for a second in the dark and try to listen around them.
Sure. Go ahead and make a perception check for me.
If we need
Sure,
light,
sure.
just let me know.
So what did you say? Sorry, one more time.
16.
16. You don't currently hear much be above the din of buzzing that is echoing around. There is the sounds of cavern. There's the dripping of echoed like pools of water. There is moisture. There is a lot of echoed sound here, but you don't hear anything in particular.
Okay. Ark will turn to the others and say, I think there's nothing around us. Shall we attempt some light?
I
Hey.
can just make one. So it's
Okay.
not too bright.
Good idea.
Sure.
All
And
right.
I'll just make like a little boop, a little
Yeah.
bolt of light.
Yeah, and then
You do.
Arafe is going to push against the wall as much as she can so people can see.
So
Around
you
her.
give some space. So you at once pointed out everybody can see this little peg that seems to be like a rotation point of a sheet of stone. This very, very narrow passageway.
Is it like something that is to be pushed? Like
It's like rotates. It's like the peg is in the middle of the stone, and it's like it kind of just like a rotating door.
Like a
So,
secret,
like, it's like
a
a-
secret library door.
Exactly.
Yeah, it just shrinks.
Ark
I'm done to try it if there's not any objections.
I would still like to be first, but if you want to go, I will let you.
By all means, go ahead.
Overnosa, let's switch things up, and I'm gonna have Overnosa send his senses into mine, and now I have dark vision.
You can do that. You don't. You can
It has to,
reverse it.
I can do either one. Yeah.
Wow. So
Summoners, man.
We're good at getting hit and sharing senses.
I think that places you in his vision to see through dark vision, so you see through his eyes or something, which we'll clarify, which is not a big deal. So you
He can
carefully,
project his senses into my body, or
which would mean
mine
that
into his.
he, yeah. So for you, Hideaki, to see through dark vision, you would project yourself into Overnosa. It's Overnosa's
Sure.
eyes that have dark vision.
Sure.
So you switch places to be able to do so, and you guys are getting ready to do this.
Just have him wrap around your face like a scarf.
I know, right?
And as this happens, who would like to volunteer for me? I need a volunteer.
Me.
All right, Ark, roll a d4 for me. Duval, I saw your hand up as well. Can you roll, if possible, a d3? You roll a d6, and
And then
have-
divide by 2. Yeah.
yeah.
4.
1.
Okay. Great. And one more volunteer. Roll another d4.
I'll keep rolling. I'm bad at these.
Okay. One more d4.
And thus, let's roll more.
1.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much. With that, so you're swinging this door open.
Mm-hmm.
Ark wants to be second. If
What was
we're
that?
switching up the marching order, Ark wants to be second.
Okay.
As they're
Who's-
doing this, I'm just keeping an eye out behind us to make sure nothing's coming up.
Who's actually opening the door?
Hideaki.
Okay. So you all will switch places somehow. And I think that'll be actually like this to make that
Yeah.
make sense.
Sure.
So as you do, Overnosa will swing this carefully forward, and as you do, you see through this small slit of cavern a filthy room. jammed with hammocks, blankets, bedrolls, all heaped into makeshift nests for little creatures. Discarded bits of food, twisted lumps of metal, bits of stone litter the floor. But beyond just that, there are 4 mitflits sleeping in these beds. And that is where we will end tonight and pick up next time.